Drive Guys, Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles. It's drive time with the Drive Guys.
Yes. On a Monday, the Drive Guys, Sactown Sports, Whitey Gleason, Alan Stiles, Jay Johnson. Just A&J, not just today, all week long. Whitey Gleason, some much-deserved time off. Whitey is on vacation for the week, so it will be Jay and myself taking you up through Friday. And what a week it is. MLB trade deadline, probably the most baseball we'll talk about for the year, especially when you're in Northern California and the Giants and the A's aren't very good. The Giants are sellers. They're in the middle of selling right now. And the A's, somebody's got to check them for a pulse. I don't know if the Giants or the A's are sellers or buyers. They're just existing. So not a lot of movement there, but Jay's adopted team and Whitey's team, the Padres, doing some business with the Giants. Robbie Ray heading to San Diego, headed to the gas lamp, Jay, headed to the gas lamp. And I don't know what it is with Buster Posey. You know, I was saying this in the crosstalk. Buster Posey is really good at certain aspects of his job, but the aspects of his job that he's good at, you kind of wish that you didn't have to see those aspects as much, right? If you have a coworker that's really good at fixing a mistake, right? Hey, sorry I didn't get that to you on time, but it's everything that you wanted in the presentation, everything that you needed, right? Well, that's cool, and thank you for making up for it, but I wish that you didn't have to make up for it because you gave it to me on time. Buster Posey has been really good when the Giants turn into sellers. Last season, he brought back a haul. Multiple guys have been in the big leagues or made it to the big leagues, debuted in the big leagues after Buster Posey added them. Now, some of that is because the Giants aren't very good, but you kind of wish that Buster Posey, you didn't have to see how good he was with the Giants as a seller, right? It would be really nice to see Buster Posey with the Giants as a buyer. We haven't really seen that. The only time we saw that was when they added Rafi Devers, who is now stuck on the Giants. Now, some people think that Rafi Devers is still one of the top talents and the Giants shouldn't move him. But the Giants haven't been very good since the one big move Buster Posey made as a buyer. So now you look at the rest of the season, and we're going to get into some of the nooks and crannies of what the Giants got back. We have that for you. Cam Salerno of CBS Sports is going to join us at 4 p.m., and we're going to talk a little bit of A-Cuff, what he thought, get his thoughts on Summer League. I know it seems like so long ago, but his thoughts there.
We still talking about Summer League?
Well, I mean, just in a broad stance. Well, you know, Jay, you got to do off-season grades. You got to do summer grades. You got to do off-season after Summer League grades. You got to do all that, Jay. But just in general, with a free agency is still going on for the NBA. Doesn't seem like anybody's making any moves, right? The big ones have happened. LeBron, that was a couple weeks ago. So, you know, it really comes down to where this thing is going to stop or start for the Kings and that backup point guard conversation. Russell Westbrook, Sam Amico of Hoops Wire talked to a scout. There was some kind of spicy things said. Now, when everything went down, right, during the season, and there were some questions about the disrespect, right, disrespecting players, and Carmelo's talked about it. Other players have talked about it. I've said it before, and I've said it again. I never really, compared to, you know, what the guy said about DeMar DeRozan, and it's disgusting or whatever he said. It doesn't make him feel well when talking about DeMar DeRozan passing certain players on the scoring list. Nobody in Sacramento said anything like that, right? But some of the words being said about Russell Westbrook are closer to that, and this is from an NBA scout. So we have that for you, and of course we have some NFL, and the NFL is coming up in about 20 minutes because, oh my goodness, Jay, unlocking Brock Purdy. Now, you thought you may have seen Brock before. The Brock is hot. The Brock star. Mr. Irrelevant. You thought you'd seen that before, but adding Mike Evans to this group, could you see Brock unlock like never before? And Brock seems to think so. He's being very open. I've never really had a receiver like this. So we talk about this in basketball a lot. At what age can you still take a leap, right? At what age can you still take a leap? At what age have you hit your peak? At what age have you started to plateau once you have really hit your stride? And when you look at Brock Purdy and what he's done so far, on paper, he's the guy where his ceiling isn't that high, right? He's pretty much who he's going to be. That's what most people would say. But at 26 years old, he's not even 27 yet. At 26 years old, he won't be 27 until December. Is there another gear that Brock Purdy can get to? And I know later in the week, we're going to have Mike Sando on and going to release those QB tiers. No clue where Brock Purdy's going to be. You know, somewhat of needs to be a bounce back year for Brock Purdy. Got to keep guys healthy. But some of those questions that people have had about Brock can be answered this season. And it's a big one. I know I always joke about C.J. Stroud, but there are a couple guys on this list. The thing about Jalen Hurts, he can drop down the list. Obviously, he wants to do more in his career. Don't get me wrong. But he's cemented in history. He's a Super Bowl MVP. Right? So Jalen Hurts can drop off of every list for the rest of eternity. That's one thing that he can look at. Every single dude, okay, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, all these guys. And Jalen Hurts can say, you can say what you want about me. I got one of these. So we look at these young quarterbacks and we, as they start to get older, and we try to figure out where exactly they're going to fit where it's all said and done. And the other question becomes, is there another gear? Who still has another gear? Because I don't know if Jalen Hurts has another gear. I don't know if Brock Purdy has another gear. But what I do know is that I don't believe that Brock Purdy has ever had a wide receiver as good as A.J. Brown. For all the conversations, now obviously there's a whole offense and the whole Avengers thing when it comes to Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle. Don't get it twisted. I understand what you're saying there. But as a pure wide receiver, I don't know that Brock Purdy has had anybody like A.J. Brown, and now that he finally has someone like Mike Evans. Now, here's the other thing about that. Mike Evans has to play. And Jay, it's not substation time, but Mike Evans has a quad strain. More and more injuries continue. And I don't know. And now you have Dejon Stribling miss his second consecutive practice with hamstring tightness. Running back Kalon Black missed practice with an adductor strain. This is crazy, Jay. I don't know how the Niners continue to work through this as everybody is still talking about this dang substation. And the only reason I'm not going there right now, it's not a tinfoil Friday. Speaking of tinfoil, by the way, I do have some thoughts on how Tarek Skubal ended up on the Dodgers. And it is tinfoil. I got that for you too. But when it comes to the Niners, the only reason I'm not going there, Jay, is because it's well known, if you follow the NFL, that the beginning of training camp, there are always a lot of injuries. Yeah, these dudes are doing workouts on their own, and it's on their Instagram, and it's on their TikTok, and it's on their X and all of their social media. They're working out during the summer, but it ain't nothing like training camp. I'm not going to pretend like I know. But from what I've seen, you watch Hard Knocks, whatever it is. Heck, you watch Ballers on HBO. Them training camps are real deal.
Shout out to Ballers.
Shout out Ballers.
Gone too soon.
Shout out Ricky Jarrett, man. Shout out the whole crew. So, Jay, that's the reason I'm not going there. Soft tissue muscles, beginning of the season. We're in Niner world, so that's what we're talking about. And now, because of the substation inside joke, if you will, Jay, you look at all these different accounts, and every injury, this dude's that sleeper NFL and underdog, they don't even care about. But anytime the Niners have any level of injury, they're putting it out there because it's an inside joke. It's a running bit at this point. So I'm not freaking out yet, Jay. Soft tissue muscles in the beginning of the season. that kind of par for the course,
it's the same thing. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, and for the most part, minus the broken ribs. Now we got down to the bottom of that. We got some dogs as linebackers, and they beating up on running backs where they probably don't need to or shouldn't. For the most part, it's quads, it's strains, it's hammies, it's flexor muscles, it's things like that. You know how it goes, man. And Alan, you've sustained some certain injuries throughout your career. I would say this: if and when the 49ers begin to have some serious injuries, because I'm going to just keep it real, they will. And we know throughout an NFL season what will happen, right?
Yeah.
But definitely they will. We'll have those discussions. I'm not going to report on and talk too much about, as you talked about, quad strains, hamstring strains. And we also know there are veterans, and I know you're not talking about dribbling, but there are veterans who know how to play the game a little bit, man.
Right. You
got me out here in this 95-degree weather. It's cooking. The water breaks ain't where I need them to be. As you said, I've been working out very hard on X and Instagram and TikTok. You guys been peeping my off-season schedule and my curriculum as far as, how I get down physically. And so with that being said, as we move closer, and it's the same thing like I talked about Shanahan, I'm the first one that I can remember to say on wax that I don't think he's going to go to Australia. But I say that in the form of when we get closer, if there's some more serious injuries, we'll have that conversation.
Yeah. So look, everybody knows I love to go tinfoil hat, and I will. But in this specific situation with the beginning of the season, this is classic hamstring, soft tissue. If there were some real deal injuries happening here, then maybe we have that conversation. And I don't even know where that conversation starts, to be completely honest with you. But this is what happens every training camp with every team. So
look around.
Yeah, exactly.
Look around.
Exactly.
Jump out the 49er shell.
Exactly.
It's happening everywhere.
Right.
Right.
My Raiders, it's hot out there.
It is.
In Vegas. So they got to be careful too. This is interesting what has been going on as we get back to the MLB trade deadline. We're looking at about 45 minutes here. And one thing I've seen with the MLB trade deadline that's not like the NBA or even the NFL, I've seen a lot of the newsbreakers, they'll get information that something is happening versus something being done. And what do I mean by that? 16 minutes ago, right when we started the show, the Yankees, from Ken Rosenthal, the Yankees are working on a trade for the Giants' Elliot Ramos. Source tells The Athletic. So 16 minutes ago, Ken Rosenthal is saying they're working on a trade. You don't really hear stuff like that, like that imminent. It's either post something happened, Sam Amick will come out and say they were working on something and it didn't happen, or you'll hear Sam say this happened or it's about to happen. Yeah. So I don't know what to do with this, Ken. So 16 minutes ago, we got 45 minutes left. Is the ball just in the Giants' court? I don't know.
Well, I'll say this. ESPN, as I look up to my left, is reporting that it's done.
It's done?
It's been done. This is according to ESPN. I'm just looking up. I don't know if you got it up in the studio. I can in between, but they just put it up and said Ramos has been acquired by the Yankees.
Wow.
Now, they haven't said what's going back the opposite way because now they're talking about the Yankees and where he's going to help and OPS and all that good jazz. But it looks like it's done, according to ESPN. Looking to see, I see Kirchin, I see a few other people up there. They haven't put a name by it, but it has said that he has been acquired by the Yankees. I will say this, though. I do think we see it in the NBA, but as you said, it's not as prominent. Like, you see guys kind of throw it out there. Mm-hmm. Team A and Team B and Team C are working on a deal, and it looks to be close. Like, we see those things.
Yeah, you're right.
But you're right in the form of more times than not in the NBA, it's going to be done or it has been done.
Right. Or it was supposed to be done and didn't happen. Here you go from Jeff Passan. The New York Yankees are finalizing a deal to acquire outfielder Elliot Ramos from the San Francisco Giants, sources tell ESPN. Yankees have been seeking right-handed bats, and if the deal clears medicals, Ramos will provide it. Ken Rosenthal first linked Ramos to New York. So
Yes,
there you
sir.
go. Jeff Passan giving the just due to Ken Rosenthal. You know what? And I just talked about this not too long ago. Elliot Ramos, probably one of the most unsung heroes of this bad Giants run. I know he wasn't great in left field, and I know he had some base running blunders, but for all of the Luis Matoses and Joey Barts and Marco Lucianos, let's talk about this for a second. Elliot Ramos was drafted by the Giants in the first round in 2017, right? So he got drafted, he developed, he was an all-star in 2024, and I don't know if he'll get to 20 this season because of injury. He still has time, but the last 2 seasons, he's hit over 20 home runs playing at Oracle Park. And there are more arguments about keeping, and he's cheap, and there are more arguments about keeping a Jung-Hoo Lee, who's getting paid $20 million a year, more arguments to keep him. Whenever I bring up Elliot Ramos, there's just no connection. I don't know if it's because of the base running or what, but this is a guy the Giants don't develop anybody. When they draft, they don't develop anybody. It doesn't work out. They're bad at development. Well, and it wasn't Buster, don't get me wrong, who drafted him, believe it was Farhan. But, they drafted Elliot Ramos in the first round. He made it to the big leagues. He was an all-star and hit over 20 home runs the last 2 seasons. And the Giants are moving off of him. He's 26 years old. He's about to be 27, about to hit his prime. And nobody is upset about it. I don't know what the disconnect is. Maybe it's because the Giants haven't been good, but you let me get on these airwaves and say the Giants need to move Jung-Hoo Lee, and I guarantee you somebody's going to chime in and say, you can't move him. You can't do it. Elliot Ramos is younger. He's cheaper, and I get it. He hasn't played great in left field, but you know what? Not too long ago, Dusty Baker was asked about Elliot Ramos. And you know what he said? He said, I'd put him in right field. I believe Elliot Ramos played 1 game in right field, and he looked good. So
What's looking good in right field? Catching a fly ball?
you're playing the carom, off the brick.
I'm just checking.
Better than left.
Okay.
Better than left.
Just
That's
trying
all
to
I
get
got for you.
understanding.
Jay, we always talk about in the NBA teams that have relationships, right? And, the Kings have a relationship with the Hawks. Oh, the Kings have a relationship with other teams, with the Bulls or the Spurs. It does feel like the Giants have a bit of a relationship with certain teams. So the Yankees last season, they traded Doval and they got some guys back. Doval now with the Pirates, but Camilo Doval, they made that trade last year. This season, now it seems like they are moving Elliot Ramos to New York. So there's a bit of a connection there. And you have other teams where they've done business. The Phillies, like I mentioned, that's where Luis Ariz is going. So we wish the best to Elliot Ramos. I get it. It wasn't always pretty, but the Giants have had a pretty low bar when it comes to developing these young guys. And I think if you were to ask, hey, Alan, did they properly develop Elliot Ramos? Yes or no? The answer is 1,000% yes. It is.
They had to.
Had to.
I mean, they drafted him in the first round. As you said, he's an all-star, so he's played in the Midsummer Classic. And then on top of that, he's a starter.
Yep.
And he's put up decent numbers over the last few years. Of course they've developed him.
9 home runs this season, 728 OPS. Like I said, he played in 74 games because he was injured. He's hitting 264, 304 with a 424 slugging percentage. And honestly, at 9 home runs, Jay, headed to New York, he might get 20 again.
Oh, yeah.
Because now you get to play
Jack Ballpark.
You get to play in New York. You get to play in Boston as well. He could get 20 again. So that could be 3 years straight if he stays healthy with 20 home runs. He was starting to steal some bags this season. So happy trails, it seems like, to Elliot Ramos. And you start to look at what the Giants have gotten back so far, as I don't even know what to call it. Buster Posey is very good at cleaning up his own messes. You could say that. They get Anthony Molina, who throws gas, and people are high on. Ramon Marquez, the 4th prospect from the Phillies. Marty Gayer as well. Miguel Mendez, the number 10 prospect with the Padres, and Joniel Hernandez, the number 21 prospect with the Padres. Those are rankings per Baseball America. And now we're waiting to see what they get back for Elliot Ramos.
Yeah, I would say the Padres really don't have a deep minor league system right now.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about the 21st prospect and the 10th prospect from the Padres, I would say that's probably not high top tier talent. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, they could be very young too, right?
Right.
They could be 18, sometimes even 17, depending on if they come from, the DR or Venezuela or Cuba or something of that nature. But unless they're young, if we're talking about the 21st and the 10th prospect from the Padres, and as you said, you talked about Brock Purdy being able to, up the ante and actually extend his legs and become even better than he has been. You never know with baseball prospects. That's
right.
The one thing, with baseball is sometimes you read and you're looking around and someone's been in the minors all the way to their 28. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, they got 3 or 4 powerful seasons as a middle reliever or closer, something of that nature. But I don't really know. And I think as a Giants fan, I would ask you, and I hate to ask you because I think you're going to kick something back, but I'd like to get some reality from Giants fans. When it's really all said and done when it comes to the Giants, are you guys entering a period of not so much as a rebuild, but maybe a refresh? Or is Buster Posey and company admitting that the Ramoses of the world, the Robbie Rays of the world, the Arise, even though they just signed them this year, like these guys can't get it done together? And so maybe we are going to turn the house and the keys and the car over to Eldridge and company. Mm-hmm. And are the Giants in a refresh period? They always have money. As you've argued, they're a top 5 brand in baseball. But I say that in the form of, and let me just propose the question, 916-339-1140. As a San Francisco Giants fan, are you thinking this organization, this team is in a refresh period? I don't want to say a rebuild mode, but do you believe they're in a rebuild mode? Or are the Giants like the Dodgers? Are they like the Cardinals? Are they like the Red Sox? Are they like the Yankees? Are they like the Mets? Where even though the Mets and some of these, Cardinals haven't won in a long time, are they one of those organizations that every single year you're vying for a championship because you have the funds available and you may or may not be a free agent destination, depending on who you ask, but maybe you can bring in some of the bigger names and swing within the next 2 seasons? Yeah,
I think it's funny because we always talk about the Kings in the hybrid rebuild. I think the Giants just, they said no. They said no to Jung-Hoo Lee. They said no to Logan Webb, but pretty much everybody else was available. Okay. So, in my opinion, it is a rebuild. Those are the guys they said they're not going to move. But outside of that, it is a rebuild. Unfortunately, those 3 contracts, they just not going anywhere. Right? So, I think the Giants would have fully refreshed, which, again, then makes keeping Logan Webb not make, or Jung-Hoo Lee make very much sense besides the fact that you just want to do it. But it does make it does come off as if the Giants are willing to rebuild, but they know that they're stuck with certain contracts, so they don't want to fully rebuild. I think they would be more willing to move Logan Webb if they could move some of those big 3 bad contracts. And Matt Chapman was actually being talked about, but he hurt his oblique, and he is out right now. Then he had paternity leave. So Matt Chapman, if they were able to move Matt Chapman, maybe they get a little bit spicier because somebody came off the books. But I think the fact that they are stuck with the big 3 contracts is the reason they said, well, we might as well hold on to Logan Webb and hybrid compete while we open up some other spots.
They haven't, and that's the question.
No, they haven't.
They haven't competed. That's why I said, are they kind of in the mode of, and I threw out the Dodgers and the Yankees and Mets and stuff like that, because these are the same 5, 6, 7 teams we hear every single year who are vying for the big name free agents, right? And I know the Cardinals haven't got that many. I understand that, the Phillies and the Nationals and stuff like that, the Cubs sometimes hit or miss. It feels like they're sometimey. Right. But it does feel like they're always in the march for a big name free agent. It always feels like, at least for the last handful of years, they've been right around the top of the Central Division, competing for the playoffs, albeit they haven't got it done, minus, Chris Bryant and company. I just say it in that form that they're one of the teams that can always pounce.
Yes.
The Cubs are always one of the teams, no matter what, no matter where they're at. They could be at the bottom of the Central. They could be at the top of the wild card. They could win their division. They're always going to be able to pounce because they're the Cubs.
Right.
Are the Giants in that position, number one? Because I don't believe it. I think they fooled themselves to believe that, meaning Giants fans. And then the second part of it, and the organization somewhat, because they've missed on a lot of free agents that allegedly were interested.
Yeah, Bryce, Shohei, Judge.
Aaron Judge, right. But if that's the case, are you always in a holding position of a hybrid rebuild if you're the Mets, the Cubs, the Cardinals?
But the Mets spend, though.
True.
The difference is the Mets spend. The Giants they want to stay between 10 and 15 when it comes to their wallet. They don't want to, I think they're 12 right now. They don't want to crack the top 10, which has been the issue. A lot of people were getting on me because I said, you got to move Luis Ariz, right? Yeah. They said, why don't you keep him? Because you have the big three. That's fine if you want to do that. My issue is if you do that, then stop bargain bin hunting for the pitchers. Go try to outbid for Skubal, who's got connections to the Bay. Right. Go do that. You can't keep Ariz and the big contracts, but then, do what they did and go get Tyler Mahle and Adrian. That's been the issue. They have spent too much money on one thing, so then they're trying to go cheap here. The Dodgers, for as much as we hate the Smurfs, they just go all in.
They go get it.
Very similar to the Rams. Jay, we got a possible another deal that I want to confirm, but if so, it would get the Giants back in return a 23-year-old infielder that was number 15 on the top 100 prospect list in 2024. We got to confirm whether it's happened or not. We're also going to talk Brock Purdy. Is Mike Evans going to unlock Brock? We'll be right back. Drive, guys. Don't move.
SactownSports.com is your online home for sports in Sacramento. Dive deep into the Kings, 49ers, Raiders, Giants, Athletics, and more with your favorite local personalities and some of the most trusted sports voices in the community. Stream Sactown Sports 1140. Watch original video content and read in-depth analysis all in one location. SactownSports.com. Your local sports leader. Sactown Sports 1140.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Capital Casino is conveniently located in downtown, 411 16th Street, and has been a part of the greater Sacramento area for over 20 years. They offer the best variety of games in the region in a safe and friendly environment, and there's plenty of parking, all well lit and monitored by security. Come have a great meal at the cafe and restaurant inside. Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. But please always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, this is Adam Johnson, owner of Golf Fitness Solutions. Most golfers practice their swing, but ignore the body swing in the club. We help golfers move better, get stronger, reduce pain, build power, and play longer. Join us for a free trial week and see how golf-specific training can help you support your body and your game. Try a class, meet the team, and find a right program for your goals. Call 916-802-5175 or visit golffitnesssolutions.com. Golf Fitness Solutions. Move better, feel better, play better.
Get as loud as you can for Monster Jam!
The one and only Monster Jam. Packed with stunts, smiles, and jaw-dropping skills. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks. Like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Sparkle Smash, and more. Only at Monster Jam. Coming to Golden One Center August 15th and 16th. Brought to you by BKT Tires and Morgan & Morgan. Specially priced Saturday night tickets available.
Download the app and listen to The Drive Guys
The Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles
on Sactown Sports 1140.
The garage sale continues for Los Gigantes. The Boston Red Sox are finalizing a trade to acquire left-handed reliever Eric Miller from the San Francisco Giants for infielder Marcelo Mayer. Sources tell ESPN deal is still in medicals. That's from Jeff Passan. Marcelo Mayer, in 2024, he was the 15th ranked prospect, the top 100, not just Red Sox prospect, top 100 in baseball. He was number 15. He's 23 years old from Chula Vista. They're always nasty in the Little League World Series.
Yeah.
He definitely went to the Little League World Series. I can tell you that right now.
You know what's interesting is I play with a bunch of guys from San Diego and college and Chula Vista area and everything. This sounds crazy. I'm actually familiar with Marcelo. Yeah, because one of my former teammates is related to him.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so I'm a little familiar with him. He's more of a second baseman at the moment.
Okay.
In the big leagues. It's crazy because he's a lefty. He swings left. I know the Red Sox have kind of cooled off on him over the last couple of years because coming up, he was one of those guys where it's like, was he a third baseman? Was he a shortstop? Was he a second baseman? And as you get higher into baseball, it feels like he is kind of become a second baseman. And he's played a second base for the Red Sox in his short stint in the league. I think his issue right now, and you know, we could kick around positive, negatives, and everything else, but I think a lot of people don't know if he's going to be able to, this sounds crazy, is to be able to hit for average on top of, I don't know if his pop has ever really been there.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of do one or the other. Average sounds crazy because he's hitting a dollar, what, 50 or something right now?
220.
Okay, 220. So, but that's career, or is that not right now?
Career is 223.
Okay.
But yeah, he has 332 at-bats in the bigs. He was a fourth overall pick in 2021.
Yeah, which is big time.
Yeah,
that's big time right there.
He was supposed to be a dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
and you know how it goes. What, he's been in the league since 21. So we're pushing 5 years.
Right.
I mean, he's got time though.
Yeah, so
he's got time. How's he? 23, 24?
Yeah, he's 23.
Yep.
He made his debut last year at 22 years old. So he got to the bigs fairly quickly. He got drafted in 2021, was in the big leagues in 2025, right? So that's as a high schooler. So he cooked in the minors. I think he's just still adjusting. The Giants are getting a lot of pitchers back in return, but you know, to add a guy like this, I don't know. To your point, Jay, and I like Eric Miller, but if the Red Sox moved off of this dude for a good reliever in Eric Miller, but a reliever, they definitely had decided to go in a couple different directions. So the haul continues, as I just read off what the Giants had gotten back this trade deadline. Another move has been made. We are under less than 30 minutes left, okay? And Alex Pavlovich says Marcelo Mayer has had a down year, but he's only 23 and was one of the game's best prospects for years. There's a ton of upside here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Jim Bowden, Giants have had a strong trade deadline as sellers, highlighted by landing 3 legitimate starting pitching prospects in Henry Lelaine, Ramon Marquez, and Miguel Mendez. So, hey, man, I'm telling you, Buster Posey, really good at this part of his job. Really good. Lelaine, and now we're getting back the info for the Elliot Ramos deal. Henry Lelaine is the primary prospect in the Elliot Ramos deal. He's 6'7" lefty, 22 years old, the Yankees' number 5 prospect.
Okay.
Jay,
I like it.
Remember when you said the Padres didn't have the best farm system?
Yeah.
I think you were being a little nice. As of March, the Padres had the worst farm system in the league, the 30th.
They gave a lot away, man, for the Millers.
They're literally last.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do have one top 100 prospect, and he's barely cracking the top 80. He's 88 in Cruz Schoolcraft.
Let me check him out because I'm looking at Keith Law, who's my guy, right? I think we had Keith on before you jumped on with us, but I'm looking at his 2026 prospect list here. By the way, Bryce Eldridge was 27 as of a couple months ago.
Okay.
Mayer is no longer on this list for him. Top 100, and I'm looking for, who'd you say, Schoolcraft? Schoolcraft.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Schoolcraft. Let me see if
That's
he's on
your
Keith
guy.
Laws. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's on there.
Joel Sherman, when the trade is finalized, this is from the New York Post. Henry LaLanne, and get this, Jay, Caden Kent will be the return. And if you thought that name sounded familiar, Caden Kent is the son of Jeff Kent, who was recently inducted into the Hall of Fame. So somebody said, you got another Bonds and another Kent in the dugout together. What could go wrong?
Hopefully they in better cahoots.
What could go wrong?
I don't see on Keith Laws. I'm just checking out here.
You're Padres, man.
Yeah, this is as of coming into the season.
Yeah.
Schoolcraft wasn't on his top 100 either.
Look, I don't know what's going to happen with the lockout or anything like that. But you got to make lemonade out of lemons.
That's right.
And that's what Buster Posey and Zach Manassian is doing. Hopefully, at some point, we can just have conversations about the Giants being buyers or even standing pat because they like what they like. But as sellers, this is the best you're going to get, right? Look, it would be nice to move off of some of those big contracts. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen. We got about 20 minutes left. Either way, you got to be kind of juiced if you're the Giants. This is for my guy Jeff Young of Around the Foghorn. The Giants get Henry LaLanne and Caden Kent in the deal for Elliot Ramos. LaLanne and Kent were the number 5 and number 13 prospects, respectively, in the Yankee system, according to MLB Pipeline. And if you are curious where the Yankees farm system ranks, they were sitting. Well, we know they're not last because that's Jay's Padres, but the Yankees were sitting at 26. So they're not great either, but that's why you're getting higher numbers, right? When you're hearing top 5 in a system, best guess is that system isn't terribly strong. So we have plenty to get to. Like I said, we started off here with baseball because of the trade deadline, and the Giants are very, very active. They might have one more trick up their sleeve. By the way, Jay, I remembered this during the break. Elliot Ramos, anybody out there that's going to trivia, 916-33-911-40, who's got the best trivia in Sacramento? But anybody headed out to trivia, if they ask you who is the only player in Oracle Park history to hit a right-handed splash hit, that would be Elliot Ramos.
Okay.
Elliot Ramos did that, and I completely forgot about that. Elliot Ramos hit that right-handed splash hit, the only one of its kind, and we wish him the best and all of the Giants who have kind of moved forward in their career. We got that Brock Purdy quote for you as we ask the question, can Brock unlock another level? More Drive Guys coming up.
Follow Sactown Sports 1140 on Instagram and X at Sactown 1140 to see the best moments from all your favorite shows and up-to-the-minute live reactions and updates on the Kings, 49ers, and more. That's at Sactown 1140 on Instagram and X. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter-churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-375-2322. 800-375-2322. 800-375-2322.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Whitey Gleason is out for the week. Alan Stiles holding it down with my guy Jay. A lot of baseball talk, 15 more minutes till the trade deadline, and then we will kind of look at how the Giants did. You know, this is what's frustrating, and we got some Brock Purdy quotes that we want to get to, but it is frustrating now because everybody is all over what Buster Posey is doing, and I'm falling for it too. You know, and it's a low bar, but it's Pavs, and I love Pavs, don't get me wrong, but I just saw a tweet from Pavs. It looks like the Giants are having a really, really good deadline day, right? And the reality is, and because I know somebody's going to say it, yeah, he says, Giants appear to be having a very, very good deadline day. And that was a quote tweet from when they got Marcelo Mayer from the Red Sox. But the reality is we don't know. All these dudes are ranked, but they're still prospects, right? Elliot Ramos, again, all-star. We don't know that Marcelo Mayer's ever going to be better than Elliot Ramos. Or, I know that deal was for Eric Miller with Mayer. But I'm falling for it too because you know what? It's been a tough.
You're a Giants fan.
It's been a tough season so far, Jay. So that's all we got.
Man, you better be real with yourself.
Good job, Buster. He's such a good seller on deadline day. That's how low the bar is right now.
See, hence why I asked the question. I posed it to Giants fans. At some point in time, you got to start to be real with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Are we hybrid rebuilders, like you like to call it?
Right.
Are we refreshing? Are we just absolutely tearing it down to the studs and rebuilding?
Yeah.
And are we even in the class of, the Phillies, the Nationals, the Dodgers, where we can spin on within, a couple of years and make it make sense? And I don't know where the Giants – it's interesting because I don't know if the Giants know, meaning the organization, in which position they want to be and where they are.
Well, I know they feel like their margins are good. Right. And
financially?
Right.
Okay.
And I think that's probably the most important thing to them right now. At least that's how some fans feel. So as long as
they'll never win, Alan.
Well, if we'll see what happens after this lockout, right? And people think it's going to be longer. We haven't talked about the Scooble thing yet, which we'll get to. Trust me, we're going to get to that. But 15 minutes left. You're such a great seller, Buster. I love it.
Oh, man.
I love it. All right. We will get back to the Giants as 3 o'clock hits and the trade deadline ends. But I did have this. Look, people think that I'm a Brock Purdy hater. I'm not a Brock Purdy hater. I like Brock. I really do. Underdog, slightly undersized. That's got Allen written all over it. Absolutely all over it. The conversations we've had is about people reacting to some of the disrespect from Brock and taking it to another level where it doesn't need to go. We don't need to compare Brock to certain quarterbacks that he probably just isn't better than, because then that makes people very, very upset. But at 26 years old, I believe he turns 27 in December, at 26 years old, is there another level that Brock Purdy can get to? 916-339-1140. That's the question. Now, here is Brock on Mike Evans. Quote, Mike's obviously just a different breed when it comes to playing X receiver, having all the abilities and gadgets, and honestly, when it looks like he's covered, still giving him a chance and having him go up and get it. I've never really had that in my career. Now, is that a shot at Brandon Ayuk? I don't think that's a shot at anybody. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. Mike Evans got Johnny Manziel cashed out. Let's start there. Go back to Texas A&M. Mike Evans should have been talked about more when Johnny won the Heisman and was doing all this stuff. Mike Evans should have been talked about more. So let's start there. But Mike Evans is a dog. He's a Super Bowl champ. So I don't think that's a shot at anybody. That's just Brock saying, I legitimately haven't had a dude like that. So now I ask the question, as we're getting ready for Mike Sando's quarterback tiers, which is coming out sometime this week, is there another level that Brock Purdy can get to? He's cashed out now, right? Some people thought, $50 million a year, that's too much. He should be paid like what Baker's getting. Now Baker's saying, if Brock's getting that, I need to be getting something different. So at 27 or 26 years old, turning 27, having a Mike Evans out right now with quad issue, Dejon Stribling out right now. But let's do the scary thing if you're a Niners fan and assume health. Is there another level that Brock Purdy can still get to? Now, I think the scary thing when you ask this question is that when you are known as, and I'm not being cynical, Jay, when you are known as the best processor this side of the Mississippi, you have a couple different ways where you can improve and go to the next level, right? That's physically when you're younger, athletically when you're younger, or that's mentally, your IQ, understanding what's happening on a given play, realizing what you should do, the speed of the game, things like that. So Brock is interesting because he's so good at that side of the game already. And I know he's had a couple different injuries. I don't know at 20, what they say, guys stop growing at, 23 technically? So athletically, I think Brock is who he is, right? I don't know if his arm, it's healthier than last year. I haven't heard anything about that. Obviously, you can continue to get stronger, but Brock essentially is who he is athletically and physically. And then on the mental standpoint, we know that Brock is a great processor. That's his number one tool. That's his superpower. So outside of just having a better receiver, is the conversation just making better decisions? So that's why I struggle. Like, if you look at Jaden Daniels, he, obviously comes into the league younger, right? Doing a lot of running, things like that. You look at him and you say, oh, well, once he does start to, you see that guy do that, and you understand that he's going to learn to read defenses better and all of that. He's got so much more room to grow. Brock Purdy comes into the league and you see the type of quarterback he is. I don't know how much room he has to grow still. So can Brock play better? Yeah, I think he can play better. Does he have another level to get to? I honestly just don't know. And I think it more so just becomes, do you have one of the best receivers that you've had in your career? But looking at him compared to other quarterbacks at 27 or 26, about to be 27 years old, yeah, I'm just not sure what the next level looks like outside of Brock just making slightly better decisions.
I think it's a twofold question for me. I think absolutely every single player in the NFL, baseball, NBA could always play better. Mm-hmm. So I think that's just common sense. Physically, we all make physical mistakes, and sometimes, as we call out in many different instances, people make mental mistakes on the court, on the field, on the pitch, in the ring, whatever you want to call it. Naturally, I think everybody can always play better than where they're playing. When it comes to Brock, as far as just what the eye, what meets the eye, I think couple things. He's always played with some high-powered offensive stars.
Right.
And Mike Evans is just another one. Has he played with the wide receiver of the ilk of Mike Evans? No, absolutely not. So Mike Evans is probably going to allow him to do certain things that he hasn't done. I just saw Tom Brady talking about Randy Moss. We all know Tom Brady didn't play with a lot of the likes like Randy Moss and Mike Evans until he played with Mike Evans and Randy Moss. Mm-hmm. But he talked about how Randy Moss allowed him to do different things that he could not do. One of them, which was, I could just throw the ball up, and 9 times out of 10, he'll run under it and it'll catch and it looks good for me.
Right.
And so things like that, absolutely, is going to take him to the next level. Mm-hmm. I think this is when it's all said and done, until Brock Purdy reaches the pinnacle of winning a championship, I think we're always going to ask, can he play better? And then unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you see it, Alan, the fact that he was Mr. Irrelevant, I've always said, even if he wins one Super Bowl, there have been quarterbacks throughout the time, and I don't want to get chastised, but I'm going to just say it in this form, who have been lucky to win a championship, right, as a one-time quarterback. Albeit they played fantastic, i.e. Nick Foles in the Super Bowl and in the playoffs. But in reality, Nick Foles probably wouldn't do that again, probably couldn't lead a team again the way he did. And to be honest, he never did do it. Right. And so you look at it in that form of, he's got to win a Super Bowl. He probably needs to win multiple to kind of hush and quiet these type of questions. So I guess in reality, I'm saying, yeah, of course he could take another level. He's got Mike Evans, right? Mm-hmm. He's got Stribling. Hopefully he's going to be a better wide receiver than Ayuk or Deebo or anybody ever was. Hopefully he turns into a star. But when it's all said and done, I think he, meaning Brock, will forever have to play out becoming one of the best or one of the greatest to do it for this question to ever be answered.
Yeah.
I just think if he wins 2 Super Bowls, people still going to say, well, it's Shanahan finally getting over the hump and, all these different things, where it could possibly be, well, Brock Purdy made a play here or did this or led that team here. And I just don't think he's ever going to get credit for it unless he just blows it out of the water.
Yeah, the example I was going to use, and I was actually in the building for this game a couple years back, and it got us our initial trip to Vegas with Chris Watkins back in the day, was that Lions-Niners game. If Brock won a Super Bowl playing like that, where, look, I got to do my own thing, the Shanahan stuff ain't really working and we're down, I think then he would get his just due. But if it was a kind of more classic Brock game within the system, yeah, I'm with you on that. I do find it fascinating, the difference between becoming a better like your ceiling versus playing better, and where that starts and ends. You could say Brock can play better, but he's probably pretty close to his ceiling, versus, like I said, a Jaden Daniels who can play better, of course, but still it feels like he has a lot more room to grow, or Cam Ward or somebody like that.
Because it's the position of Brock where he was drafted. Right. I think even if he was drafted in the third round, we would all say, well, there's probably a little more.
Yes.
Where Brock is kind of being, he's being targeted by many of his, people who dislike him or want to discredit him as he's reached the pinnacle of as far as he could possibly get. And Shanahan is also a high percentage, and CMC plays a high percentage, and George Kittle, like most people point to it and say, well, this dude's playing with 4 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Like Kittle and CMC are probably in the Hall of Fame already, probably at this point, right?
Yeah.
I think so. When you look at that, you hear that, and then no doubt about it, people always look, well, Brock's playing with Shanahan. Put him over there with Tennessee and see if it happens.
Yep.
So I truly believe that he will forever have that kind of chip on his shoulder. He will always be targeted unless he blows it out the water. And so that's why I say, and when I say blow it out the water, I mean he's going to have to be, 12-time Pro Bowler, 50,000 yards, made it 1 or 2 Super Bowls. Like, he's going to have to really just blow everything out the water for people to say, well, dude was just good.
Yeah.
Where he's going to be, he's almost a system QB. He's almost the type of guy that got put in the perfect place.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I think he's always going to be attached to him because he was the last pick.
Yeah. And there are certain players that are always going to have that stigma.
Sure.
Another name, somebody in the Bay, I know he's not popular out here. It's the Draymond Green thing. How many times have you heard, Hall of Famer, all the accolades? If Draymond put Draymond when the Pistons weren't good.
Right.
Put him on the Pistons and see what put him on the Hornets and what's Draymond doing, And we'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. What we do know is that in 3 minutes, the MLB trade deadline will have closed. We will go over what the Giants did, if the A's did anything at all. And it's time to get into some NBA, the 2026 NBA Western Conference Summer League Notebook from our guy Keith Smith of Spa Track. Where do the Kings fall? Don't move. Drive, guys. 3 p.m. We'll be right back.
Deebo Samuel is coming home. The 49ers are bringing back the veteran Swiss Army knife on a 1-year deal worth up to $7 million. After a season away in Washington, will Deebo be able to pick up where he left off with Kyle Shanahan? Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
It's a hot spot on your dog's leg. But the internet says you can treat it at home. You're not sure though, 'cause now it's oozing.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Ooh, he's licking it. Super gross, dude.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms.
Earn an accredited MBA in as few as 16 months for about $21K at University of Maryland Global Campus. Explore 10 specializations, including finance, HR, cyber technology, and more. Plus, showcase the value of your MBA with a comprehensive learner record and digitally demonstrate in-demand skills and credentials to employers. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start August 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Is the volatility of the stock market driving you crazy? Is your retirement account sinking, yet you're getting older? And you're starting to worry about, will I have enough for retirement? What about the money in the bank? These banks pay nothing these days. How do we get growth to get to retirement account? It's simple. Move into gold and silver. Want to know how to do it? Listen to my show, Striking Gold, with me, Kenny Michaels.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports 1140, your local sports leader.
Live and local, it's The Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
916 from Dino. Allen hates Brock almost as much as I hate. I won't say the Kings player, but Dino enters a Kings player's name. Do not hate Brock, Dino. I just said I like Brock. Okay? Now how I feel about, look, when you know when I dislike a player, right? The Jordan Loves of the world, guys like that just get a little bit too much, a little too much hype, right? A little too much hype. And I just want to see them actually do something, okay? And it's not even Brock. It's some of you Niner fans that's how you talk about Brock. That's the issue.
You're attacking Niner fans at 3 p.m. on a Monday.
Yeah, I am.
You ain't got nothing else to talk about?
I don't.
Anything better to have a conversation about today?
The MLB trade deadline just ended. We got updates for you.
Give me some prospect talk.
But no, Dino. Dino want to talk about Allen hates Brock. I do not. 916-339-1140. Does Brock still have another level he can get to? 530 from Trey. Actually, the answer to your question is yes, Brock can play better, which would be the next level for him. Physically, he is what he is. So if Brock, I would look at Joe, who had a similar build and arm strength, but Joe learned how to become Joe. I think Trey's talking about Joe Montana.
I would think so.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically it's a ceiling conversation versus just a playing better improvement conversation. Brock is probably pretty close to his ceiling, but that doesn't mean that he can't make better decisions, play better, still understand Shanahan's offense even better. And, having a legit X receiver like Mike Evans, there's another level he can get to. 209 says, I like you, Allen, but we are going to change. This is a different number, too. We're going to change your name from the Hit Doctor to the Hate Doctor. Come on, 209. That might be the text of the day. That was well done.
I mean, you haven't really spewed that much hate.
Right.
Maybe
I'm waiting
about
for the season.
45 seconds ago, 60 seconds ago, it sounded like you wanted to. But you slowed down.
Yeah, I mean,
I get it.
It's still training camp.
Yeah, we're early.
We still getting warmed up.
Brock has to be a little more sharper with the ball. He's not a gunslinger, but he definitely takes more chances, and I think even Shanahan, and definitely more than Garoppolo. Right. He's got to learn to throw the ball away sometime. He's got to learn when to take the sack. He's got to learn when to just drop down and get your eagle on, when to take the knee and take the 1 yard in a cloud of dust too. But that's something that I think all quarterbacks learn, albeit everybody's at a different level, right? But these are some of the conversations that we heard 2-3 seasons in with Lamar Jackson and everything else. The difference was their talent level was on another level.
Yeah.
Right? And so with this question, and I think you said it, but now you said it in a better form for me, you packaged it better, is what truly is the ceiling for Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
And for me, I'll just say this. I don't really care what his ceiling is. I just know, I feel this, me personally, I feel that he can win a Super Bowl. He's pretty much showed me that he can lead a team to the Super Bowl. Now, are there a few things within that Super Bowl he could have did different or, leading up to that? Sure, 1,000%. But I think we can say that about most quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Right? I think we can also, even up to the last couple of years, most people will probably tell you Josh Allen, if not as one, he's 1A, he's 1B. He's in the conversation, the best quarterback in the league, Allen.
Yeah.
But there are some things people have questioned about him. When to sit down, when to throw it away, when not to become Superman. Some of this stuff just comes with experience, too. But I do think I'm not comparing Brock to Josh Allen, because I think their talent level are on two different plateaus. They're on two different platforms.
Yeah. The Brock Purdy conversation is the gift that keeps on giving. I think last season, honestly, the last couple seasons, because of injuries, we haven't been able to truly engage in the convos because he hasn't had everybody. And, that's when he's supposed to cook, and that's when he's supposed to show this or show that. He's been dinged up a little bit himself. So I want everybody to get on the field and see what Brock can do. Because that's the thing. Dak Prescott has had, CeeDee Lamb, now they got Pickens, and they have a ridiculous offense. When your numbers are undeniable, even if you have the Avengers, whatever form of Avengers on your team, people most of the time still give you love. I do think there's a little bit of draftism because Joe Burrow has a crazy room, but nobody says, hey, well, Joe Burrow has too much talent, whatever it is. But if we can, I want to get back to the conversations, Jay. I want to get back to the debates. We haven't really been able to do it because guys haven't been healthy. And the Ayuk saga and all that, get Stribling out there, get Evans out there, and let's see what these dudes can do. That's what it is. But if you show me the hate, okay? If you agree with the 209, show me the hate. Shout out to 209-916-339-1140. Okay, as we tie a bow here on the MLB trade deadline, again, I don't think the A's made a move. I don't see one. I'm checking.
I haven't seen one.
Our guy, Martin Gallegos, if they did anything, Martin hasn't tweeted in 22 hours. So if anybody was going to have something, Martin Gallegos, who covers the A's for MLB.com, would have said something. So the A's probably, I don't know, Jay, one of the rare teams that didn't do anything at the deadline. Feels like not a lot of teams stand pat and do nothing. So nothing to talk about with the A's as they're just trying to get dudes back on the field. When it comes to the Giants, just off the top, I did this quickly. As far as who they lost, I got to take some time here to wrangle up everybody that they got back. But the Giants moved on from Tyler Mahle, right-handed pitcher, Caleb Killian, right-handed pitcher, Robbie Ray, left-handed pitcher, second baseman Luis Ariz, outfielder Elliot Ramos, and relief pitcher Eric Miller. I think that's everyone, as we are 8 minutes past the trade deadline. So we will get, like I said, I had a list of the players, and then the Giants made about 2 more moves. So we'll get you that full list of everyone the Giants got back in return. I believe it's close to 10 prospects, I think. Probably fairly close to that, maybe between 7 and 10 prospects. So we'll get that list for you as we wait for the dust to settle a little bit on the MLB trade deadline stuff. So let's get into a little bit of NBA here as our guy, Keith Smith, has come out with his Western Conference Summer League notebook. Okay, this is from Keith Smith of Spa Track. And obviously, we care about what the Kings got going on. And basically, the idea for the notebook, after spending 11 days in Las Vegas for NBA Summer League, my notebook was overflowing. I succeeded in my annual goal of talking to at least one front office executive, in addition to coaches and scouts from all 30 teams, and oftentimes multiple of each. In exchange for anonymity, I was able to get a lot of interesting information from these executives. In addition, several agents were willing to share thoughts as well. Below are a handful of notes from each Western Conference team. So let's get right to the Kings. Here are the notes. And basically it starts with notes for a couple different players and then just where the team stands right now. So on drafting Darius Acuff, here's a quote: "Beyond excited doesn't even begin to convey how we feel about Darius. He's out to prove everyone wrong who passed on him. We're the ones who will benefit from that, a Kings front office executive said. Beyond that stuff, Darius is an outstanding scorer and playmaker. He's already taking on a leadership role. He's a true franchise guy that we can build around. So that's from an exec. Doesn't necessarily matter who.
One of 4 people.
Exactly. And
do the math.
Honestly, in this conversation, what else are they going to say about Acuff? I think this is probably even though it's the first thing that Keith leads with, for me, it's probably the biggest footnote, right? Because what else are they going to say? This is what they had to say about Maxime Reynaud. He had such a strong rookie season for us, even though we didn't expect him to play as much as he did. We think we can probably play him with Domantas Sabonis some too because of their skills. That's from a Kings assistant coach. Also, did you see him stepping out to shoot it more? We think that'll be part of his game moving forward. So I know the MGP that recently came out, the Matt George podcast, was about who's going to get those backup center minutes, right, when Domantas Sabonis isn't playing. And I'm paraphrasing, of course, but Matt George essentially said that he thinks that Dylan Cardwell might get more time. And I think it's, that defensive presence and, understanding exactly the role that Dylan Cardwell plays kind of makes sense why Matt would go in that direction. When it comes to the backup center conversation, another, I guess, loophole when it comes to getting these 3 guys as much playing time as they can, Maxime Reynaud, if the Kings in that building feel like he can play the 4, well, yeah, that would unlock some things. I'm going to be honest, and I'm, again, paraphrasing here, but this is from an old friend of mine. His name is Chris Watkins, and Chris would always talk about when you have conversations about playing the 4, the first thing he thinks about is defense. Right? Offense, oh yeah, it's hot. It's sexy. Stretch the floor. Maxime shooting threes. We love it. And Chris said, I always think about who are you guarding? Who are you guarding on the other end? And I don't know, Jay, with that being said, and I don't think it's not about Maxime being a bad defender or Domas being a bad defender. But when you look around the league at some of the 4s that are being thrown around, and I know everybody switches every screen and things like that. Back in my day, Jay, you fight through a screen. How about that? Back in my day, you go over a screen if he's a shooter, and if he's a brick, you go under the screen. And if it's you with the ball, there's nothing more disrespectful, Jay. If somebody goes underneath my screen, I'm pulling, just on principle. I don't care if it's a brick. You are not going to disrespect me and go under that screen. So I look around at some of the power forwards in the league, and I know positionless basketball, but I look at some of the power forwards in this league, and I think, can Domas and or Maxime Reynaud guard them? Now, this is from our guy Hollinger, Jay. This is 2025, 2026 Hollinger NBA player statistics for power forwards. Now, this is obviously based on who are the best power forwards, so I'm going to go down the line, and you tell me if it feels like Maxime Reynaud or Domantas Sabonis can guard these dudes, all right? And I'm going to start with the best, so don't get too scared quite yet. Number 1 ranked is Giannis. Number 2 is Victor Wembanyama. Number 3 is Kawhi Leonard. Number 4, Paul Reed. Great season for Paul Reed. Number 5, Jimmy Butler. Number 6, Zion. Number 7, Anthony Davis. Number 8, KD. Tied with 8 and KD, Lauri Markkanen. Number 10, LeBron James. Number 11, Jalen Johnson. Number 12, now this is where things get weird, Deni Avdija. They have him as a power forward, right? I think he was a point guard.
There were some other ones that was weird there too, though, but I get you.
Tatum.
Jimmy Butler.
Well, Jimmy Butler, weird one. You have, after Tatum, you have, which is another weird one, Marvin Bagley, who's about to drop an album, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. Michael Porter Jr. at 15. Scotty Barnes. Franz Wagner. Domas is number 18. Daniel Gafford is 19. And we'll stop at 20 in Pascal Siakam. After Pascal is Julius Randle, Aaron Gordon, Trey Murphy, guys like that. Jay, how comfortable do you feel? Now, again, I just said the top 20, but how comfortable do you feel with either Domantas Sabonis or Maxime Reynaud guarding those guys?
Not very comfortable.
Now, those are the best. Don't get me wrong.
Not very comfortable at all. I was sitting here looking at same thing. Who is this? This is The Athletic, and they just kind of, not so much, I guess they rank power forwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really get into how, why, and where, and I'm just kind of going down the list. But it seems like it's a little more power forward-ish than what Hollinger, like the Butlers, a couple of them guys like Kawhi, power forward. What are you talking about?
Tatum?
Yeah. But, I mean, they got Tatum here. He's number 2. They got Giannis, Tatum, Mobley, KD, Paolo Banchero, Pascal, Scotty Barnes, Zion, Draymond, Laurie, Markkanen, Cameron Johnson from the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon from the Nuggets, OG, Julius Randle, Kamara, Portland, Tara Eason, Houston, Paul George. So we're starting to get down to maybe some of the guys that they may probably guard. Salty Adama, Bridges.
Yeah, they can
Tobias
guard those
Harris,
dudes.
Jabari Smith, Jaden McDaniels, Jeremy Grant, Keegan Murray, Kuminga, Dorian Finney-Smith, P.J. Washington, Rui, John Collins.
They can hold their own.
Yeah.
But here's my thing.
They're in trouble, though.
Think about this. You can't have, and this is part of why I believe Matt was saying Dylan Cardwell got to get time. Think about this, Jay. You going to run with a straight face, Doug Christie, defensive savant. With a straight face, you going to run Domas, Maxime in the front court while you got Zach LaVine and Acuff in the backcourt?
I'd say no.
You can't.
I'd say no.
So, and maybe that's not the plan. Hey, when we're going with the two bigs, we're going to have Emmanuel Sharp for some defense.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a tough one for me. That's a tough sell. It's one of those things where I don't know if you use the year, how you can improve. Hey, we left Maxime at the 4 all season long, and now he's better at defending these guys. I don't know if it works like that.
Yeah.
We were talking about the trade deadline. Yeah, if you let a baseball player, if you keep him in the bigs and he gets used to seeing 100 miles per hour and a crazy curveball all season long, timing gets better, things like that.
For sure.
I don't know. You can learn different corners and ways to play some of these power forwards. Yeah, Maxime can learn that. Sabonis could learn that, but straight up, these dudes are just different builds. There's just a line-to-line athleticism that I don't think those two have in the bag. So I think it's interesting in theory. We saw a little bit of it this past season when Domas did play. I'm willing to see it because the Kings are going to be very good anyway, but I just don't think a lot of people think about the defensive aspect outside of, oh, yeah, it's going to be great. They both can shoot threes. Domas, 40% three-point shooter. Maxime can light it up. It's going to be awesome. Maybe offensively, but defensively, it could be a roller coaster a little bit.
Yeah, I would imagine, if I'm just using common sense, that if Max and Domas are playing at the same time, we're in bench minutes, right? Mm-hmm. So I would factor in that you're probably seeing, if we're running a double big and it's Max and Domas, no doubt about it, you're probably looking at a Sharp or a Clifford already in there.
Have to.
I would think Keegan would probably move down to the 3 in some form or fashion because he is, for most people, the best defender on the Kings. So I would maybe his minutes will probably cross over into that lineup. And, who knows where Acuff sits among that, because now we're talking about bench minutes. It may be a Malik Monk ball handling situation. But I'm with you. I don't really see that being a strong positive lineup for the Sacramento Kings. And quite frankly, even if you throw Keegan and you throw Sharp out there and let's just say Malik is the guy, that's not a very good defensive, ball club. It's really not, and to be honest, the paint is probably where you're going to really have a big issue.
Yeah.
Because I think Sharp can pretty much hold his own on the outside. Mm-hmm. I truly like what he brings. I like his foot speed. I like his power. And to me, he's a no-nonsense type of guy. He's going to get in your face, right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, him and Keegan probably crossing over would be your two defenders that are going to patrol the perimeter. But I think that leaves a huge hole in the middle. Yeah. No doubt about it, because ain't nobody walking by and saying there go Akeem Olajuwon with Maxime Reynaud. That's just not the way the game is played for him.
I'll say this, and this isn't coming from any source or anything like that. This is just my feeling on it. I think the reason the Kings keep bringing up Maxime at the 4 might not be because they truly see a world with him at the 4. I think they are just looking for ways in a season where they probably aren't going to be very good. We want Maxime to be on the floor as much as possible, right? There's going to be switches that happen. They can switch off in the post, Maxime and Domantas Sabonis. It might not matter to them as much. Hey, we are working on Maxime as a power forward as much as it's, hey, we know that Maxime has a future here. We don't know how much longer Domantas Sabonis is going to be here. So we are going to prioritize finding a way to get Maxime on the floor any way possible.
And that's fine. Say it then. Stand on it. Put it out there.
Well, I mean, they're just saying they can see him playing a little power forward. They actually,
they're saying it, but I'm saying stand on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what they're saying is we can play him with Domas. They did not specifically say at the 4.
Right.
They're saying they can both play and it'll get figured out.
They basically will both be on the floor at the same time. However you want to position. If you want to put Domas as the 1, doesn't matter. They're both going to be on the floor at the same time.
Yeah.
I got you. I will say this. Without, here we go. Just looking at it, that was an assistant coach who said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are they supposed to say?
Right.
Like, in reality, and I'm going to ask you this because this is something that I was thinking about when you're like, well, Keith Smith, and I love Keith Smith. How much negative connotation was put on there by a exec
any
or anything?
Any team.
Where it's like, you know what? We asked about the first-round draft pick. It's like, we made a terrible mistake. We're already in 2 weeks. It's trash.
Yeah, we thought.
We missed it.
We thought we'd see more from Caravan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who said that?
Yeah.
Did you read every single team?
I did not.
Okay. Because I'm interested. I'm very interested to see if anybody was like, yo, you know what? We've realized that player A, the point guard, and the guy that we drafted, they're not going to be able to play together.
Right.
We figured that out.
Well, I'm looking here because I believe it's in alphabetical order. So I'm just looking if they said anything about De'Aaron Fox because the Spurs are next, right? San Antonio. And I don't see anything. They brought up Tobias Harris.
Yep.
Right? But nothing on De'Aaron Fox. So if they found a way to.
Come on now.
With De'Aaron, the thing about De'Aaron, there was a lot going on. He's got his new shoe out. But no, I hear you on that. I think it's more so the player stuff is one thing. The mindset stuff is another. And that's how we'll kind of tie this up. Just the conversation about where the team stands now. Keith Smith got that as well. So we have that for you from his notebook for the 2026 Western Conference. More drive, guys. Don't move.
Take Sactown Sports with you everywhere you go with the Sactown Sports app. The most in-depth coverage of the Kings and 49ers. A library of written and video content. And all your favorite personalities all in one place. Download the Sactown Sports app today and get in on the action. Your local sports leader. Sactown Sports 1140.
On BritBox, your next hidden gem is right around the corner.
If you're going to be bold, here is the place to do it.
Get ready for Britain's most anticipated series, streaming exclusively on BritBox. Catch new seasons of favourites, including Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
You want someone to get murdered?
And the eagerly awaited new adaptation of Agatha Christie's iconic detective duo, Tommy and Tuppence.
Do you think we're actually really good at this?
Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Watch with a free trial.
When you see this in your kitchen,
the stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
You hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves. erased in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Whether it's date night, family night, or buddy night, Hagen Oaks has a bay for you. Reserve one of 3 Top Tracer bays from 6 to 11 p.m. through HagenOaks.com, and only those 3 bays are reservable. The rest of the driving range is still open for walk-ups. Play golf on world-famous courses while the kids try interactive games. Head to the Hangout for great food, cold drinks, and live sports on the TVs. Add monthly live music and putting tournaments, and you've got more than a driving range, you've got a night out. Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Swing by and swing away.
Hi, this is Adam Johnson, owner of Golf Fitness Solutions. Exercise and golf have been 2 important activities in my life. I opened Golf Fitness Solutions in 2013 to help my fellow golf enthusiasts improve their posture, relieve their pain, gain strength and endurance, and most importantly, hit the ball farther. From beginners to professionals, I've had success working with all ages and all skill levels, and I can help you too. Located in Carmichael, call us at 916-802-5175 or go to golffitnesssolutions.com.
Is the volatility of the stock market driving you crazy? Is your retirement account sinking, yet you're getting older and you're starting to worry about, will I have enough for retirement? What about the money in the bank? These banks pay nothing these days. How do we get growth to get to retirement account? It's simple. Move into gold and silver. Want to know how to do it? Listen to my show, Striking Gold, with me, Kenny Michaels.
The Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles on Sactown Sports 1140.
Still letting some of the dust settle from the MLB trade deadline. A's didn't do anything from what I can tell. Checked on Martin Gallegos' X, not one post within the last 22 hours. So that tells you right there. Giants, yeah, it's... I mean, I guess what they know people will yell at them if they sell, right? So, and there's no point in them buying. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I mean, honestly, I'm as a reformed A's fan, I guess at this point, I'm checked out with them. But if I was to consider myself moving on to Vegas and supporting them in Vegas, I would say the one thing the A's have done very well is they're always looking ahead.
Yeah.
They're always looking ahead. And it's always for the A's, or not always, but at least since the late 80s, early 90s, it's always 4 good years, 4 bad years, 4 good years, 4 bad years, right? It just feels like that's the pattern. And I'm just saying 4, it could be 5, could be 6, whatever. But I think they're in the middle of trying to figure out what their move is. And as much as you talking about with the Giants, they're definitely worried about finances.
Mm-hmm.
And they're okay with just standing pat, standing still, and seeing how their finances play out. I expected them to move maybe one pitcher or something of that nature. But if I was to continue my A's fandom over the next, 10, 12, 15, 20 year, whatever you want to call it, I'd be a little upset in the fact that I think the foresight is not there right now. They need to get a little more aggressive on, if their landing spot is in Vegas and is going to be there for the next 100 years or whatever the case may be, I would be, as a fan, a little upset that we were promised when they get to Vegas, things are going to change.
Mm-hmm.
They're not there yet, but I would also like to see some of that foundation begin to be built.
Well, I'll tell you this much. If Shea Langeliers doesn't tear his meniscus, they probably were going to
they spin him. Yeah, for sure.
And A's fans probably were going to be ticked off because that dude, he's a beast.
Yeah, but for what?
Well, I'm just saying, just the idea that they always spin off their good players.
But
now,
they're not trying to win nothing, Alan.
Well, I don't know if you heard this, but apparently he had rejected, because, they keep doing these super long contracts, but the annual salary isn't very high. And I'm pretty sure Shea Langeliers said no. He rejected it because I think he thinks he can make more. So once he said no, that's when the A's said, okay, well, if you ain't going to sign this, then we're going to get you up out of here. Then he tore his meniscus. So I don't know. I think some A's fans, maybe they're numb to it, especially in a season. I think it was worse, to your point, when they were contending and then they sold and then they were sellers. They weren't in selling situations, but they sold anyway.
Sure.
They would have been in a selling situation, so I don't know if A's fans would have been mad just outside of it's fun to watch Shea Langeliers hit.
We're talking about in the past, like, 10, 12, of course, yeah. I mean, it's always been a big issue with the Kings, with the A's. I was going to say Oakland A's, but with the A's over years past, where they sell guys, players that absolutely probably shouldn't be sold, and then at the same time, they don't pull out their pockets.
Right.
No bunny rabbits coming out the ears for the A's organization. They always are in pocket. They always got change. They always got a little reserve.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. As an A's fan, up to this point, like I said, I will be an A's fan as long as they're here in California. My fandom has definitely regressed. But if they move to Vegas, for me, I'm just done. I can't do it because now I'd be supporting a few different things, which I already have an issue supporting the ownership group, number one, right? So, but on the field, if I was to be one of the A's fans, there are going to be millions who are going to continue their fandom with this organization. The one thing that I've consistently heard, going back to even when Dave Kaval was the vice president or president of operations, he said when they get to Vegas, it's going to be cooking. The pot going to be on high.
That's what he said.
So I don't see the pot simmering too much right now.
They're not there yet.
But, I mean, don't you at least got to prep your ingredients?
Yeah.
Don't you wash your ingredients off? Don't you chop them up? Don't you put them on the board? We ain't cooking with seasoning.
Sometimes,
Come on, Al. You got to cook with seasoning, baby.
It takes a while for the water to boil.
Truth.
When you cooking, that's the main thing. You don't prep anything else. If you don't get that pot boiling, you messed up the whole timing is off.
So you're not marinating the meat overnight?
I got it. No, I am.
Okay. Well, talk to me now.
But there's a little marination going on. They got some of these dudes. I think it was a rumor that Nick Kurtz turned down an offer. I don't know if that's confirmed, but somebody out there was saying
extension.
They tried to give him the extension, and he said no bueno because he wants more cash and probably deserves it. So I hear you on that. Here's the other thing, Jay. If you did want to be sellers, how about this? You might want to do it now because Jeffrey Springs, did you see what he said about the home run issue?
Yeah.
Jeffrey Springs says, we play in a PCL ballpark, right? And PCL, for those that don't know, is very well known for being offense friendly.
Right.
So when you go to those A's games and you see that ball just kind of sneak over and you wonder, man, how many ballparks would that have been out in? A lot of times the answer is one. And that's the ballpark you're watching it in because you're not watching it in a major league ballpark, right? So if I'm the A's, Jay, I'm looking at these numbers saying some of our hitters probably have balloon numbers from playing here. I might want to flip some of these guys in the last season. I know Dave thinks that they might not even play again based on timing, and he might be onto something. Initially, I thought there's no way, but yeah, people aren't too thrilled about where this lockout could go. You might sit there and say, we need to move some of these guys because they have balloon numbers and playing in the PCL ballpark. And your pitchers ain't doing nothing because their numbers are ballooned in the negative way because they're facing hitters in the ballpark. So no moves for the A's. I'm compiling a full list of the Giants prospects for you as they move on from, I believe it was 6 players off of their roster. Big day for the Giants. Big day. Oh, it's a big day.
None of these people coming back to the Giants organization are recognizable.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
But it's a big day.
Big day.
So it sounds like Giants fans have reserved themselves to the point that they see not only is this season, but probably next season and maybe even 3 seasons out.
Yeah.
They're not going to be very good.
No, I saw somebody say, looks like the Giants are ready to compete between 2030 and 2032.
So let's make sure, as you talk about 49ers fans, I need you to make sure that you put that same call out to your Giants fans and let them know, check this out. Come next year, we'll need you talking about how you're going to compete in the West.
Right.
And in 29 and 28, I don't want to hear the same thing. And in 29, okay, maybe you could start to say, well, we might be able to sneak into that wild card. For the next 2 years, if I'm hearing you correctly, I don't need no Giants fans out here jumping out the bag talking about that they're going to win the championship or even make the playoffs.
Well, with the lockout, different rules. There's a lot that could change, Jay.
But see, this is the thing. Fans can fan and please continue to fan.
Yeah.
But when I say the likes of, stop bringing that nonsense to the drive guys and you give Giants fans, oh, Jay, you don't know what you're talking about and you're upset and all that. When the organization has shown you clearly that we're not going to compete for the next couple of years, why are you so hot and heavy about it?
No, I'm not.
Now, I'm not saying you.
Right.
I'm saying Giant fan. Unfortunately, you're the representative for the Giant fan.
Look, we understand that.
Who's we? The fan or the organization?
Giants fans, some of the smartest fans in Major League Baseball.
Well, okay.
We're optimistic. When you got the 3 banners, when you can't walk into Oracle Park, I know you went for your birthday. I know you saw the 3.
Got sick.
I know you saw, I know you did. What, too much garlic fries?
Yeah, them seagulls was biting at me.
When you got, Jay, you understand. The parades, the championships, the replica. You walk in with your replica ring.
We still was talking about that stuff over a decade ago, man.
Week ago. It feels like it was just yesterday.
Man, folk, you done had 2 kids, got married, all within this span.
A lot has happened.
Okay.
A lot has happened.
We still talking about it.
We still got championship aspirations. But we understand that, with the Smurfs and all these teams that are buying championships, which the Giants didn't have to do because they drafted and they did it the right way. A couple trades here and there, but they did it the right way. But we're always going to feel like we're in the mix. We're realistically optimistic. That's Giants fans.
All right.
Now, some of these other fans out here, other teams that will remain nameless, okay, the realistically optimistic just goes into la-la land, into Delulu land.
Are we talking about Raider fans?
No names. Now, but Giants fans, realistically optimistic. That's what we would say. Now, it is frustrating to have to do it was a great day. And I'll get on people, people get on me, Alan, you're too negative when it comes to the Giants. I don't want to sit here and say it was a great day for the Giants because we truly don't know. They lost 6 players, and they're sellers. The reason we're here is because they did not show up. That's why they're selling. So we can hem and haw about the returns, but let's not forget why the Giants are selling. They're selling because they did not execute. They were unsuccessful this season. It was an unsuccessful season. Turning lemons into lemonade does not mean when you expected maybe something else, right? A mocktail, an expensive mocktail, that's a little bit different. We can be happy that the Giants left with something. Maybe you can argue that they came out or they returned more than what was assumed, for sure. But I'm not going to get lost in the sauce and say Buster Posey did a good job, because he didn't. And he still's got 3 big old contracts that they didn't move. It's official. 9 minutes ago, right? 39 minutes ago, the trade deadline closed. So I'm not going to sit here and act like Buster Posey is GM of the year because they got some prospects that clearly other teams were okay with moving off of. There's some fans are always going to be upset about moving off of prospects.
Of course.
Because prospects represent hope.
True.
Right? And, when you see somebody and people get connected to prospects. Oh, I knew Marco Luciano was a hit. I was certain. There's no way this is a miss. Crawford is going to hand the keys to Marco Luciano, and Joey Bart's going to be behind the dish. We're going to rock and roll. And all those dudes were top 100 prospects, and none of them hit. I know Joey Bart's still in the league somewhere.
Yep, just got traded today.
Again?
Yes.
Dude. I mean, he ain't hanging around, though.
Yeah.
Hanging around. Marco Luciano, Luis Matos is out as well. So we understand that prospects are just that, right? It's a gamble. Vegas, wherever you want to go. Roseville, Thunder Valley, Sky River. I saw one yesterday pop up, Jay. Rolling Hills, right? I mean, there's Rolling Hills, River Rock, Red Hawk. All you want to call them, it's all a gamble, okay? And the Giants are part of that gamble, and hopefully it works out for them.
Joey Bart to the White Sox, by the way.
That's got to be his 4th team, maybe 5th, because he was Pirates somewhere, and now White Sox. Started on the Giants. Yeah, Braves. He was on the Braves. They still think he's got a little something.
Man, catchers and pitchers, brother. You know how it goes, man. You could hit 0.7 as a catcher. It doesn't matter as long as that defense is up there. Also, too, coming in late, Martin Gallegos. A's trading Kobe Thomas to the Phillies for right-handed pitcher Seth Johnson, my cousin. Johnson, a 2019 first-round pick, has posted a 5.51 ERA and 16 relief appearances for the Phils this season. Fastball sits at high 90s plus a slider. Good swing and miss guy.
Huh. Okay.
Man, come on now. Don't do us like that.
Little something.
Yeah, well.
I mean, was this legal? When did this go? It's an hour ago.
You know, this
How'd y'all pull that off?
This buzzer beater. Also, too, Whitey's team, according to Jeff Passan, the San Diego Padres, with a buzzer beater, he said a big buzzer beater, they acquired right-hander Casey Mize from the Detroit Tigers.
Now Whitey's probably enjoying himself, having a little pineapple coconut.
Absolutely.
Because Mize, they didn't know if he was going to be available or not.
Yep.
Okay. So Colby Thomas, he played, this was his second year in the bigs. Yeah, he played 49 games last season. He played 55 this season. So, not super, super young. He's 25 years old. And now he's out of there.
Gone.
Out of there. Okay. Well, let me know, Jay, if any other buzzer beaters. I mean, I don't know what the statute of limitation.
As long as you got it in.
Okay.
You can report it anytime.
Yeah, fair enough.
You don't have to be first, Alan.
I know it. So, apparently, A's are still cooking. Right? We just hear it on the back end.
Told you.
When this stuff is happening.
That marination, baby.
You marinating something. The tri-tip, whatever you got. It's hot outside. Let's get back to the the notebook that is from Keith Smith, where the Kings stand now and what one front office executive had to say. More Drive Guys. Don't move.
SactownSports.com is your online home for sports in Sacramento. Dive deep into the Kings, 49ers, Raiders, Giants, Athletics, and more with your favorite local personalities and some of the most trusted sports voices in the community. Stream Sactown Sports 1140. Watch original video content and read in-depth analysis all in one location. SactownSports.com. Your local sports leader. Sactown Sports 1140.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Let me tell you about the Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite. It's bright, it's bubbly, it's back.
The Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich, it's so rich, and you can choose between the original or the spicy filet.
Ooh, boy.
And then you got those pickled jalapenos tucked right under the filet, and then just to top it all off, you've got a little honey drizzle right on top.
Okay, now I'm a pimento fan.
And I'm feeling the dragon fruit.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
And we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Free at every AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery. One of the most common questions I receive is, what makes us different from other law firms? At Gingery, Hammer & Associates, we handle your case from beginning to the end. Whether your case reaches a settlement, whether it must go into litigation, or whether it has to go all the way to trial, we will be with you along the entire way. And because we are committed to your case, we are as invested as you are in making sure you get the outcome you deserve.
When you get an injury, just call Gingery.
Capital Casino is conveniently located in downtown, 411 16th Street, and has been a part of the greater Sacramento area for over 20 years. They offer the best variety of games in the region in a safe and friendly environment, and there's plenty of parking, all well lit and monitored by security. Come have a great meal at the cafe and restaurant inside. Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. But please always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
When you see this in your kitchen,
The stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Cam Salerno joins us at the top of the hour. CBS Sports, college basketball extraordinaire, and of course, ties to Sacramento. I think he was on the ACUF bandwagon pretty early as far as it making sense for the Kings. So we'll get Cam's thoughts on ACUF, on Summer League, on the Zach LaVine storylines that I guess I am legally binded to bring up. If you talk Kings on any platform in any capacity, you have to cook up a Zach LaVine story.
No, you don't.
Even if it doesn't
be different.
Exist.
Challenge you to be different, Alex.
I'll keep waking up and seeing stuff that we already knew. And I'm reading, Jay.
Yeah.
You know, I got 20/20 vision, but
Attaboy.
I'm rubbing my eyes, making sure, am I reading this? What am I missing here?
Yeah.
Right. Today it was, they were going to try to trade him, right? There was going to be a sign and trade. Didn't we talk about that? Right? This is, it's interesting how it's so dry in the NBA right now that Zach LaVine stories are the biggest thing. During free agency, mind you. During free agency, so much has already happened with the NBA that we have to cook up a new Zach LaVine thing that's already been reported from months ago, weeks ago, months ago. Now they're going to try to sign and trade. Well, obviously, they were going to try to sign and trade. The whole conversation was, how am I going to get my money back? Because I'm about to get $49 million. So y'all can talk about a sign and trade, but if it's a 2-year, $60 million deal and I'm Zach LaVine, I can get majority of that in 1 year. What are we talking about? Run me my check.
Need the cut.
Just run me.
Yeah.
If y'all find somebody that wants to do, what would it be? What? 2 years, $100 million? That ain't happening. That was never going to happen.
Yeah.
So Zach LaVine and people say, well, Kyrie, he opted out and extended. Yeah, but he got his money back.
Yeah, but who'd you say?
Kyrie
Irving. Yeah.
And
it's a little different.
And it wasn't a pay cut. He got the money back.
Yeah.
So you'd have to find a team and it's clutch.
Yes.
Okay? This is what we're talking. It's clutch.
Jeff Rowe.
So you got to find a partner that is gonna. I'm Rich Paul. I'm on with Max Kellerman, and Max, I told him they want to find a partner, right? They want to do 2 years, $100 million. My man is getting his money, so they want to do 2 years at a $49 million AAV. We could do that, okay? Because we're not losing out on this money. Or if it's front loaded, you get the 49 1 year, and then it drops to 30 the next year. Maybe we could do that. But clearly, right? If it was, I don't know, $75 million, 2 years, $75 mil, you get about 50 year one, 25 year two, and with a player option. But teams are probably thinking, I don't want to do that.
Nah.
Teams don't want to do that.
Nah.
So, I'm sure they tried to sign and trade. They're trying to get out of that money. Quit running from the bill. Quit running from it.
Sometimes you got to pull out that wallet and pony up, Alex.
Yeah, you signed up, not you, Scott Perry specifically, but as a unit, when you signed up to take this job, you signed up for that Zach LaVine contract. And it's no hard, it's a play on, right? Kings tried to find a way to offload the contract, maybe get something back in return. And the other teams or Zach LaVine said, hey, I'm going to get my money because it's my money and I want it now. And we'll see what happens throughout the season. I was listening to the morning show, dropping the kiddo off, and they were having a conversation about why wouldn't you just buy Zach LaVine out now, let people get other get at-bats, if you will, play more minutes, things like that. And they were going through the exercise. They weren't claiming that it was going to happen.
What's today?
It is August 3rd somehow.
They still talking about that?
Yeah, August 3rd somehow, 3:52.
Is that must have been their obligatory, have to get the Zach LaVine conversation? Okay.
Legally.
All right.
Legally. You cannot pass go and collect 200 until you talk. Yeah, you are going to talk about Zach LaVine. I got nightmares. Jay, I told you we watched Obsession over the weekend. Okay. It wasn't that scary to me, to be honest with you. It was creepy, but it wasn't that scary. I thought it was a good movie. A lot of people say the guy, not to give anything away, is more of the antagonist than the protagonist or the villain. I don't think there was really a villain. I can rewatch it. It was a good movie. It was creepy, but not scary.
Okay.
In that sense. And there's a scene where she's just standing in the corner, and that scene was creepy. And it's almost, Jay, if you work in Sacramento media, somebody sits in the corner and they say, talk about Zach LaVine, and you can't sleep.
Can't get away from it.
The only way to, hey, if you want to fight a nightmare, you got to face it head on. The Zach LaVine nightmare, if you want to go to sleep, you have to come up with the Zach LaVine headline. That's how it works, Jay. I don't know if you knew that.
Nah, I did know that. I missed the bill on that, I try and send you guys stories every single day, but I don't get too involved in the fact of you should say this or you shouldn't do that because I was always taught you let talent be talent. But I'm with you. I hear you. I get it. I mean, I know as a Kings fan, I think when it comes to the Zach LaVine conversation, there's really nothing else for me. And there's no disrespect to you or Whitey or Dave or Jay Ross or anybody. You could name any NBA pundit. There's nothing else that can be added that's extra to it or just something that we haven't heard. Now, if Scott Perry, BJ Armstrong, or somebody come out and say something that's worth the ilk of the pen, then I'm good with it.
Yeah.
But beyond that, the situation, and I think that's what you're saying, the situation is the situation at the moment until anything is changed. That gentleman is going to be on the Sacramento Kings. And I would tell every Kings fan that's listening, if you think Zach LaVine is coming off the bench, as you just said, you might want to clear your eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
He will be in a starting role unless, like I said, Scott Perry, BJ, Paul, somebody comes out, Alvin Gentry, somebody going to have to come out and tell me something different. Until then, that man's on the team.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a starter.
Right.
So expect it. And he's going to collect that $49 million, that check, too.
Right. And he's playing to try to get another check.
Yes.
So he's going to be highly, highly motivated, which helps the Kings.
It should.
The other part of it is, if they get a good return, whatever the case may be, if you play well and you stay out of relegation, that's also a win. I know it's a tiny victory, but it's still a win. Hey, Zach LaVine played really well. He just came off the books. We didn't end up moving him or, because you have to take back that money. So you might not want to do that. But hey, thanks, Zach. You kept us out of relegation. And now we get a Tyron Stokes. I mean, that's good with me. That's good with me. Real quick.
That'd be the one.
I know. To tie a bow on where the team stands now. This is from Spa Track from Keith Smith, who spoke with every NBA team in his 2026 Western Conference notebook. Obviously, as an Eastern Conference notebook as well. And this is what a Kings front office executive had to say. We feel like we're in a solid place. We've got some young guys that we love and some vets we still believe in. From a Kings front office exec. After this year, we've got really good cap flexibility too. Things got a little sideways last year, but we're back on track and headed for better years to come. I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's unrealistically optimistic. It's pretty straightforward. Some vets we still believe in. Which ones? Which ones you talking about? Right? And then the cap flexibility, even if if for some reason, let's say it just looked really good, even if they decided to keep Zach LaVine on a lesser deal, probably not going to happen, but anything is possible, you'd still get cap flexibility because you wouldn't be paying him $49 million anymore. Now, you might just let it come off the books and bring in some younger puppies to see what they can do. But either way, that amount of money that Zach LaVine and DeAndre Hunter, who we're going to talk about later in the show as well. So those are some of the notes. You can go check that out at SpaTrack.com. Our guy, Keith Smith, he's probably due for another convo here as we get closer to the season. Not right now per se, but as we get close to the season, training camps start up as well. So great stuff from Keith, and we'll see what the Kings decide to do next. As we hit the 4 o'clock hour, Cam Salerno of CBS Sports joins us to talk A-Cuff and what he thinks the Kings should do this offseason. Drive Guys is rocking and rolling. Don't miss it.
Follow Sactown Sports 1140 on Instagram and X at Sactown 1140 to see the best moments from all your favorite shows and up-to-the-minute live reactions and updates on the Kings, 49ers, and more. That's at Sactown 1140 on Instagram and X. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know, I used to think all money managers were the same until I spoke with Fisher Investments.
Really? How different are they?
Fisher's investment counselors are dedicated to service, not sales, keeping clients up to date on their portfolio.
Well, they probably just invest in a bunch of mutual funds like I do.
Nope. They build a tailored portfolio based on their clients' personal goals, helping them stay on track for a comfortable retirement.
Well, they must make commissions selling products.
Actually, Fisher doesn't sell any commission-based products. They're a fiduciary, and they believe that's a conflict.
Then they have some kind of complex fee structure.
Nope. Fisher has a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of their client's portfolio. So they do better when their clients do better.
It sounds like Fisher really is different.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Fisher Investments, clearly different wealth management. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Ben Hogan said, good golf starts with a good grip. It's true. If the golf club isn't in a square position after you grip it, you'll have to do something in the swing to manipulate it back to square. Otherwise, you're hitting big slices or duck hooks. Then you start gripping the club tighter, and that tension runs through the hands, up the arms, and into the shoulders. You're done before you even take the club back. 9 times out of 10, when I make a small adjustment in a friend's grip, the ball flight is much closer to straight or even a slight draw. You want to hold the club more in the fingers than in the palm, which allows your wrist to better hinge. The lifeline on your right hand will cover the thumb on your left. In this position, you'll see the top 2 knuckles on the back of your left hand, and the V created by the thumbs and forefingers should be parallel and point to your right shoulder. Grip pressure should be about 4 or 5 on a scale of 10. The correct grip is incredibly important, and if you're having issues, see your PGA golf professional. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports 1140, your local sports leader.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Taking you up to 6 p.m. And Cam Salerno should be joining us here shortly, talking a little bit of Kings. Had some jokes not about Zach LaVine, but about the Zach LaVine situation. So we'll get to that for you. In the first hour, had the Giants. We have the official list of players, the deadline moves, players traded, and the players acquired. And of course, most of these guys are, I would say, somewhere in the realm of a top 20 list, right? So somewhere in the list of a top 20 list. And I just got a response back from Cam Salerno. Looks like it's going to be closer to 430. So we will keep an eye on that one. But the Giants here, Tyler Malley, Luis Ariz, and Caleb Killian, Robbie Ray, Elliot Ramos, Eric Miller. Those guys are out the door. In the door, Anthony Molina, Ramon Marquez, Marty Gayer, Miguel Mendez, Joniel Hernandez, Henry Lelaine, and Caden Kent. Yes, that is Jeff Kent's son, and Marcelo Mayer. So those are the returns for the Giants. Jay, how does the future of the A's, Padres, excited, or is it play on?
For me, I'll play the role of the fan. I'm scoring right now, Alan.
Mm-hmm.
Just personally, but I think the Padres are kind of one of those squads, i.e., Giants, Nationals, Phillies. They feel like they're always in a running to make a run at the playoffs, and when they get into the playoffs, all money on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've dove head over heels in the fact that the talent that is on the ball club right now, they've had to kind of assist with arms over the last 2 or 3 years, starting pitching and relief pitching. And I think they're okay with their positional players for the most part, and they always kind of do plug and play. I'm a little worried for the Padres, next handful of seasons as far as their farm system. As you brought up, they're dead last. Who was that according to MLB.com? Yeah, so there you go. They're dead last. With the A's, I'm not exactly sure what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure they know what they want to do.
No, I don't think so either. And things are always funny after the trade deadline because it's quite the lineup for the Giants today. Quite the lineup for the Giants.
Give it to me. Let me hear it.
You got my guy, Nate Furman, leading off DHing. Jung-Hoo Lee hitting second. Right field, Willie Adames hitting third. Rafi Devers, first base. Daniel Susac catching. Drew Gilbert in center. Osleves Basabe, second base. Grant McCray in left field. And Christian Koss at third base with Logan Webb pitching. So this is an interesting one. Yeah, this should be fun. I mean, this is where it starts. This is what Giants fans were waiting for. And by the way, last notes, Elliot Ramos says, surprise, surprise, he's very excited to play number 1 with Aaron Judge. Number 2, he says, in that ballpark as well. So we wish him the best. Pavlovich said this, sounds like the Giants are done. They traded 6 players off their roster that I just named. They're thrilled with the quality of prospects they got back, especially all the arms they added to a system that desperately needed them.
Looks good for the future.
Definitely does. It
Maybe
does.
20. Would you say 2030 to 33?
That's right.
That's when they're competing.
That's when we're locking it down.
No, it's all good, man. I just want Giants fans to get on the same boat as the organization.
That's right.
I want them to be lockstep, equally yoked, and move forward and saying, we're going to miss the next couple years of postseason play, and we'll talk to you in 29.
Well, they don't really have a choice, okay, at this point in time. Elliot Ramos has had a big smile on his face, Alex Pavlovich said, when he spoke and kind of closed things off with the Giants. Elliot Ramos said he's proud of his years in San Francisco. There were ups and downs, but he became an all-star. During a brief interview here in Arlington, he mentioned several times that he can't wait to be teammates with Aaron Judge. He's also excited to hit in that ballpark, and he's a great fit. We know he's got that oppo power with the first splash hit at Oracle Park. So
love it.
That's about it. That's about it for the deadline. And
for you, is it quiet?
No,
not quiet because all the moves that got made.
I think Elliot Ramos changed things for me.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, if it was just the expiring guys and some pitchers, I would have not cared. But not that I necessarily wanted them to move on from Elliot Ramos, but they did get a nice return back. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll catch y'all in 3 years, just like we said. By the way, Cameron Salerno is going to join us at 4:30. Just to be clear, I know a lot of you are waiting to hear from him, and I don't blame you. He's always got some great stuff to say. So we will hear from Cameron Salerno in about 20 minutes here. And one thing that we also wanted to break down, there are a couple different teams doing different things in the NBA right now. And there's a team, Jay, that I don't really know what exactly they are doing. Okay, This is from Jake Weinbach. And I asked the question, obviously it's always through the lens of the Kings. Is this team doing it the right way, or are they just doing stuff? Okay, so I'm talking about the Blazers. And this is from Jake Weinbach.
Okay.
And this is the Blazers' starting rotation and the bench. And I'm going to roast myself here because I'll be honest with you, Jay. I joke and I say I could become a GM. This sounds like some bleep that I would do because they recently got my guy Jeremy Sohan.
Yep.
Right?
1 year.
1 year.
Non-guaranteed deal.
Come on in.
Yep. Why the Kings didn't look at Jeremy Sohan?
That's what I'm saying.
Man, never mind. Move on.
That's what I'm saying. Now, this sounds like a team that Allen would create. Point guard, Ja Morant.
Yes, sir.
Shooting guard, Damian Lillard. Small forward, Denny Avdia. Power forward, Tumani Kamara. Center, Donovan Clingan. This is where it gets fun on the bench. Scoot Henderson, Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe, Robert Williams, Vit Krejci, Sidi Sissoko, Jeremy Sohan, Yang Hansen still there, Micah Potter, and Brandon Carlson. And I truly don't know if you're a Blazers fan. I know they got a lot going on with their owner, but just specifically basketball, this is the team that's just doing stuff. And I just don't know if the Kings, if Scott Perry was just bites at the apple, give me Sohan, give me Vit Krejci, give me 4 guards, Scoot's still on the team, all this stuff. Is this how you should do it, Jay? Small market, trying to contend, made the playoffs last season, so I guess that works, but Dame was out. Maybe they made more sense without Dame. Now Drew is coming off the bench. Scoot Henderson, or projected to come off the bench. Scoot Henderson still coming off the bench. He was, a top 3 pick?
Yes, sir.
I don't know what they're doing.
You know, for me, the Chauncey situation kind of put him in a weird space.
Right.
I post that, it's kind of like, well, what are you? I mean, obviously you're playing for the championship, but what are we doing? And then once we heard they were going up for sale, new ownership group, I don't know. I'm with you. I don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Let's guess.
I was
going
to
to
say,
figure it out.
What's their win total? Because that's one. I got my running list. Where's my running list for Schmal and Miles? I got it right here, Jay. Niners over.
Yep.
Raiders over.
Okay.
Pacers under.
Yes, sir.
Grizzlies under.
You got it.
Kings over.
Yes, sir.
Take that to the bank.
That's a 5-piece parlay.
That is going to help build Vegas, what that's going to do. But I have no clue. I have no clue where they would be sitting.
Where the T-Blazers at?
The Blazers are sitting right here at 43.5.
Give me the under.
There's no way.
Give me the under.
Should we add it to the list?
43.5?
If I'm not mistaken, that's the same as the Pacers.
I think it is. I think you're right. 43.5 for the Trailblazers?
It's the same as the Pacers in the West. There's just no way. There's just no way.
I'll take the under for sure on that.
Yeah, we might need to add that one. I don't see the Blazers getting there.
I mean, are the Jazz going to be better in your eyes?
Yes.
Okay. Where's Denver at?
Denver, the old Nuggets.
No, I'm asking you where Denver's at, not over under.
Oh.
Where do you think where do they position themselves next year? Are they out of the championship?
They're barely scraping.
They're right at the back end of that.
It's Jokic, a lot of Jokic.
Yeah.
There. I think they're between 4 and a 6.
Okay.
Maybe we would have a 3 conversation, but I don't think so.
OKC's OKC.
Spurs are the Spurs.
I'm just going to division. And I think Minnesota's going to take a step back a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, in their division, they're what? 4th best?
Sounds like it.
You got the Jazz above them next year?
I think I do.
So you got OKC, you got the Nuggets above them, you got the Jazz above them. So they may be dead last.
They just don't make sense to me. I think that's like they've done stuff, and you got to be happy when your team does stuff, but they just don't make very much sense to me. Like you have 4 guards. Jeremy Sohan is just there. He's not going to play.
No. He's just a veteran on the ball club.
I mean, let's start here too. You got Dame, who's about 36, and you got Ja, who's Ja. So your 2 starting guys have missed a lot of time.
They're guard heavy.
Guard heavy.
What do you do with Drew Holiday? He's not going to be there.
They probably want to move him, but
he can't be there heading into the season.
The problem is nobody wants that. They finally got off the Jeremy Grant contract, but Drew Holiday
makes a ton of money.
$35 million this year.
Yeah.
Next year, player option, Jay. Wait for it. 37.2. Can't do it.
Get your chips, young fella.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
He's not that young.
No, he's but
relatively speaking.
36,
36.
6, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, it looks like a bunch of names on the paper.
Right.
For sure. You don't know what you're getting with Ja. You're hoping Dame is 85%, 90 Dame, coming off a few injuries, of course. Advia, I know that's your guy. I like Drew.
He likes to handle the rock, too.
Yeah, but not on this team.
Not anymore.
Not with Dame and Scoot and Drew and Ja.
That's cooked.
Yeah, that's over with. Yeah, they probably are on the outside looking in for me. They're down in the pits of the Golden States, the Kings. I don't know what the Mavericks are, to be honest.
No, I don't. I think the Mavericks
and Memphis.
They made me think, and they just cashed out, right? They just cashed out.
Najee Marshall.
Najee Marshall,
Yeah,
3 years.
Yeah.
I think
$52 million.
Yeah, I think my thing with the Blazers is it's giving what the kids say, it's giving Kings, because I don't know how much sense they make. Like a decent amount of talent. They kind of remind me of a younger version of the Clippers last season, where the Clippers brought in a bunch of dudes, John Collins and Brook Lopez, but nobody really knew what it was going to look like, and it just didn't really make a lot of sense, and it didn't work. There's always a team that's just going to do stuff, and the Kings aren't just doing stuff.
No, and I appreciate that. I'm good with that, because I'd rather the moves at this point be calculated if I'm the Sacramento Kings. It's something I called out about the A's today is to me, the A's look like the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers look like the A's. It just feels like they're just some names on the paper, and there's really no goals or aspirations of what's next and looking down the road because of ownership things. Like I said, Chauncey Billups' situation happened with the Blazers and that whole mess, which is crazy because I haven't looked it up, and we know he won't be coming back because they've already got a new coach. But correct me if I'm wrong, I never saw the finalization of Chauncey being fired. It was always he is suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
And the Thiago Splitter was the interim.
Right.
But I haven't seen anyone ever come out and say he's been cut permanently.
Yeah.
Now, new ownership group, who knows?
Yeah, it kind of just went away.
Yeah.
And then
it's got some legal battles going on. I understand that. But I'm saying as far as on paper and throughout the NBA circles, I don't remember, and it could have happened, but I don't remember a soul ever saying he is officially terminated completely.
Yeah. I don't know that they can. I don't know legally. I don't know.
So you just let it ride until it works its way out in the courts, and then you can make a move?
Yeah, maybe it's a financial thing, kind of like with Terry Rozier. Assuming that all goes through the issues legally, then they don't have to pay. The owner ain't trying to pay nobody.
No.
Because if you straight up fire someone, you got to pay off the contract.
Right.
If there's something going on with the money, you just wait it out, and then when, he is unable to do his job, so we no longer have to pay him. So maybe there's something there. The other thing that hasn't come up too much, but it was something that I thought was, just a conversation where things have changed a little bit. As you brought up Malik Monk earlier in the show, Jay, is just where exactly he fits in general. I think he's another guy. There's a bunch of guys, and it's not just Kings players, but there's a bunch of guys that are playing on the best contracts they're ever going to have. And Zach LaVine is playing on that contract. And a lot of those guys do tend to be on the Kings, right?
Hold on now. Don't be pointing a finger at the Kings all the way
there's
around.
There's 3 guys.
Okay.
Domantas Sabonis is never getting that money again.
Right.
I don't think Malik Monk is getting that money again.
Right.
And Zach LaVine is not getting that money.
But all these guys are on it sounds bananas, but they're on the tail end of their prime.
Sure.
Like they're not at the end of their career.
Right.
But their prime or at the height of their career is probably over with at this point.
And we just talked about, I think the Blazers had a couple of those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeremy Grant, he's not on the Blazers anymore, but he was never getting that money again.
For sure.
Drew Holiday ain't getting that money again.
No, sir.
And
Dame ain't getting it no more.
Dame is not getting that money. Well, he's got the Bucks wave and stretch. So
but he ain't getting it no more. Like nobody's going to sign Dame to a 4-year, $226 million.
Right.
And if they do, more power to Dame and his agent and them, but we shouldn't see that anymore just because of his age.
Yeah. I think Malik Monk this season is going to be interesting because where he fits in the pecking order and the hierarchy can't be very high, right? You'd rather Zach LaVine take a level of shots because he's expiring this year. Malik is not expiring this year. He's got that player option that he's going to opt into. So I think it's going to be a weird year for Malik Monk. He was at 12.5 points last season, played 62 games.
How many minutes a game?
It didn't seem like a lot.
Yeah.
He was at
25, 24?
22 even. Season prior, 31.6.
Yeah.
Beam team season, he was at Beam team season, funny enough, Jay, Beam team season, he was at 22.3 in 2023. 2024, it jumped up to 26 minutes a game. And then last, 2 seasons ago, obviously it went haywire. But yeah, I don't really know. He's going to be necessary for sure. But the amount of opportunities he's going to have to just do the Malik Monk Cook thing, I feel like are going to be few and far between. Next season with Zach gone and whoever, we think Zach will be gone, but whoever moves into that starting lineup, they're going to get those shots. And then Malik will be expiring. So I think Malik will have more opportunities because the Kings would either want to trade him or re-sign him to probably a lesser annual salary. But yeah, this season I really think is going to be an adjustment for Malik. And he said it himself during media day, or one of the media availabilities. His job has changed like 4 or 5 different times,
no doubt,
within the past 3 years. We're not making excuses. Oh, they're millionaires. We get all that. It's just relatively speaking, if you work a job, you get hired as an accountant. But hey, we want our accounting firm to have a better social footprint. Now you work in the firm's Instagram page. Next day, now you doing social media stuff.
Social media manager.
Exactly. Next day, hey, we want to have a nice luncheon, Alan. Can you order some Chick-fil-A for us? Now all of a sudden, now you're doing HR front office stuff. Hey, I was brought in to be an accountant. I'm supposed to count this paper. Mm-hmm. Now you got me doing social media stuff and ordering food, which is fine. I'm a team player, but that's not what I signed up for. And to a lesser degree, that's where Malik Monk has been at. And now it's going to change again because this year, Jay, I think he's a backup point and kind of make sure, but it's a different version of a point guard because he's going to have to distribute the basket. They're going to want him to get the ball to certain guys, right? Because Malik Monk, he's to the point now where a Malik Monk 30 ball, we all love it because it's exciting as heck, but the organization is thinking, it's cool, right? But we ain't moved. They might try to move him this season, but realistically, he's going to be more available next season. So where he is on the hierarchy, I don't think is going to be very high.
Yeah, I think you got a good point there. I looked at last season as, we think when you say Malik Monk, we think of him being the sixth man.
Mm-hmm.
And at the height, that was a couple of years ago where he should have won. And of course, Nas Reed snuck in there and jumped in front of him,
right,
and won it, right? But I'm not sure he's even the sixth man on this roster anymore.
I don't think he is.
That's tough, man.
Who is it? It's always interesting because there's like a big man, 6 man, and then there's a guard,
right,
6 man, right? So let's eliminate Maxime and Dylan and just focus on the backcourt. If DeAndre's starting, I don't know. It could be Malik. It could be Neek. In my opinion, it could be Sharp. Who knows? The way he's been playing.
Right.
I think there's going to be a battle there, and it's a lesser version of what everybody has been saying with some of these guys taking your shots. Obviously, Doug is going to play the best players, but the same way you don't want shots being taken away because of Levine or whoever. If you're looking around, you might be more inclined to, even if Malik is better than Neek Clifford, you might be more inclined to get Neek off the bench first because we want to develop him more so than, no, we're playing Neek because he's better than Malik Monk.
There might be some alternatives.
It might not be a fair shake.
Got you.
And this, Jay, we talk about the MLB trade deadline. I had buddies, they were hitting 300, high A, rookie ball. No burn, Jay.
Man.
Some dude comes in.
Tell me about it.
Signed for $20 million, signing bonus. Man. Alan, I can't get no run. They cut me. Why are you hitting? Now, this is back when batting averages mattered. Why are you hitting 300?
Right.
They signed me for $30K.
Yep. Chump change.
I'm not worth nothing.
Send me home.
You know? And they've talked about that. I know the Club 520 podcast, Jeff Teague has talked about that as well. So a lesser version of that, you got a first rounder in Nick Clifford and even somebody like Emmanuel Sharp versus Malik Monk, who you didn't even sign if you're Scott Perry. Unless it's now, I know Doug is going to play. Doug's going to play who he sees fit, but there might be some conversations where it's, hey, if it's close, right? If it's clear, if Nick Clifford, it didn't look good last season, from what I recall. It did not, point guard Nick Clifford did not look great. So if it really looks that bad and Emmanuel Sharp, who didn't really handle the basketball at Houston, if they need Malik and it's obvious, Scott Perry is not going to leave Doug hanging out to dry. Hey, work through it either way. Doug's going to say, we need somebody to handle the basketball.
Yeah, got to handle the rock.
But if it's close, let's see what Nick can do a little bit.
Yeah, for me, it's Malik. I just think Malik brings too much to the table. Mm-hmm. He's microwavable. I think he is instant offense.
Yeah.
For a team that could be lacking offense, at this point, I'm pretty sure we both could probably say they're going to lack offense and defense at a lot of times this season. But looking at it on paper, I just think Malik brings too much to the table. It's too much of a Swiss Army knife. He can dish it. He can go get it, meaning go get his own points. I think he works very well with Domas. I think they have a great 1-2. They play off the chemistry, the DHOs. And the one thing I love about Malik is he can create passing lanes, right? I'm not sure the Neeks, the Sharps, those guys have showed me that they can create passing lanes. No, they can't. Right? Well, I mean, at this point, we'd probably say
Not yet.
Right? And I think we hope Darius Acuff will do that. Mm-hmm. Like, he will be in the form of a Malik Monk. So I think Malik, and we don't know this, but it seems like the offense will be pretty close to the DHO, maybe a little spinoff. I know Whitey believes that Acuff is going to have the ball in his hand at all points in times. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to happen a lot, but I also think that they won't stop just running absolutely anything off of Domas. Like I think one of Domas' skills is you have to utilize him a la Draymond Green.
Yeah.
You got to let him cook a little bit. You got to let him work. You got to let him, create some offense. So I don't expect, and if you just look at the history of who Doug Christie is, working off the Webbers and the Vlades and things like that, to me, it seems like Domas will have the ball in his hands at least a little bit.
Yeah.
So for me, I think Malik is a better catch and shooter than Nick is right now. Sharp, who knows? Mm-hmm. We'll see in the NBA. Acuff, who knows? Both those guys shoot a high percentage from behind the arc. But I just think Malik plays a role that nobody on this team, maybe minus Acuff, can play at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not getting a backup PG, Malik should be first.
Man, ain't no backup PG there.
Well, then
it's Malik, baby.
Then we already got one.
Yes, sir.
That's the answer. We already got one. We got Cameron Salerno coming up, CBS Sports. So don't move, about 2 minutes away, and he's breaking down everything he saw from Summer League and what the Kings should do for the rest of the offseason. More Drive, guys. Don't move.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owed the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louis found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louis has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louis.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-375-2322. 800-375-2322. 800-375-2322.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
In celebration of 80 years of 49ers football, Sactown Sports is counting down 80 of the most memorable moments that have shaped the team's storied legacy and winning tradition. Here's today's faithful flashback.
Number 28, Steve Young's first MVP.
Steve Young's journey to stardom and the Hall of Fame took a while. Once in the NFL, he toiled in Tampa. He sat behind Joe Montana in San Francisco, and then finally got the opportunity to run the show with the 49ers. In his first full-time season as a starter, he won his first AP NFL MVP back in 1992. He dominated the league that year, helped guide the Niners to an impressive record of 14-2 while leading in passer rating, completion percentage, and touchdowns passed. Young received 56 of the 80 votes, becoming a runaway winner for his first NFL MVP.
Faithful flashbacks on Sactown Sports 1140. The Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles.
As promised, 4:30 Drive Guys taking you up to 6 p.m. And Cam Salerno joins us of CBS Sports. And of course, we love having Cam on, his connections to Sacramento, national college basketball and football writer, CBS Sports. Cameron, thank you so much for joining us. How's your Monday?
It's good. It's almost football season. I can't believe we actually have a football game this week. It's preseason. People will probably watch for the first 10 minutes and turn it off, but it's good to have football back. I think this is like the best time of year. We're almost there.
Well, let's start here before we get into the Kings stuff, right? I know there's it doesn't feel like there's a lot, but these storylines keep getting repurposed and recycled. Let's go a little stingers up. How you feeling about Sac State, the MAC attack this season? Is it going to be better than what I think people believe it will be, or could it be a little rough with the transition and all the different moves? The travel, Cam, hope nobody's afraid of planes on Sac State because they will be frequent flyers this season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's a huge adjustment going from the FCS to the FBS. And, you have FCS teams play FBS opponents all the time before conference play begins. But, transitioning full time to the FBS is a whole different beast. And you've seen a lot of success in recent years. Like James Madison, for example, they made the jump a few years ago and they were in the playoff last year. And, it's cool that they got rid of the rule that you can make a bowl game right away. It used to be a probationary period where you had to kind of prove yourself and you didn't get to go to a bowl game, couldn't play for a conference style game. But now it's like those restrictions are lifted, which is awesome. I think it's going to be an adjustment period. I think, if they can make a bowl game, if they can get to that 6-win mark, which is going to be pretty tough, I think, in the first season. I mean, that'd be a huge success for the program. But, it's good for Sacramento that they're getting that national exposure and going to the FBS, because it's kind of been, years in the making. I remember when I was back in Sacramento last spring, and, I thought it was almost a formality that they were going to go to the FBS. Like, you talk to people, they pretty much were pretty confident throughout the program that they were going to be able to make the jump and, go the independent route. And the fact that they were able to join a conference is pretty remarkable, just based off the developments. But at the end of the day, it's going to be tough. And like you said, the travel is no joke. I was like trying to figure out, like, what's the closest MAC school to Sacramento technically? And yeah, it's going to be, well, it's also too with MAC, like they play a lot of Tuesday and Wednesday night games. So it's going to be a lot of long nights for Sac State football in the first year or two.
It's interesting you say that, Cam, because it's one of the things that people have been talking about around here for a while, as you pointed to. When it comes to Sac State, I'll jump across the causeway real quick. How about UC Davis as we keep it local? What's your thoughts on there? Some of the people that I'm speaking to, if their quarterback is a baller, they're thinking they may be able to sneak into a championship caliber type team.
Yeah, UC Davis has been really consistent for the last few years. I think they're going to have a really good season in the FCS. I know it's kind of that. It's a shame they're not playing against each other. I mean, I think it's a game that should be played every year. The Causeway Classic is always high stakes. I remember in 2022 when Sac State was undefeated and they played, that was one of the coolest games I've covered. And I've covered a lot of just really awesome sporting events throughout my career. But like that, the intensity, the stadium was packed on both sides. You could really feel it in the air. But I think UC Davis is going to have a good season. I really do. I think they're going to be an FCS title contender. And, with North Dakota State going to FBS, like all bets are off. I mean, I know Montana State won, the national title last year. Big Sky football is no joke. So I think UC Davis is going to have a good year.
All right, Cam, everybody is asking us, hey, what's going on with the Kings situation and ACUF? And I know you're seeing all the aggregation sensations when it comes to Zach LaVine. But let's start with ACUF, because I know college is your bread and butter. And if I'm not mistaken, you thought that ACUF was a good match for the Kings pretty early on. Did Summer League bolster that thought? Did Summer League make you feel any differently, positively or negatively, when it comes to DA5?
Well, the rule, right? If you play bad in Summer League, you're automatically a bust. And if you are good in Summer League, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. But with ACUF, like I said from the beginning, like I thought, for a really long time, like I've obviously followed ACUF's career up until, college. And like, I thought he just really developed nicely as a player. And having the Coach Cal stamp is doesn't hurt. And he just got better and better throughout the season. Like he was, I think, the best point guard in the country in college. And he just could just take over games. That's what really stood out to me. Like in the NCAA tournament, when the moments were big, he always stepped up. But going back to Summer League, it's kind of what we thought. Like, I think one of the biggest transitions for point guards in the NBA is like traditionally rookie point guards are inefficient. I don't want to compare it to when you're a quarterback as a rookie in the NFL, but there are some similarities. Like you don't really see rookies in the NFL for quarterbacks put up these huge numbers. I mean, Jaden Daniels had a great season like 2 years ago. You see lots of flashes, but I think for point guards in particular, they tend to really kind of struggle to adjust to the game, and they tend to not that efficient. So with ACUF, you saw the efficiency numbers, and people were talking about why is he taking 21 shots in a Summer League game. I'd be more concerned if he wasn't taking that many shots. And the game where they played the Clippers and Keenan Wagler took, I think, 7 shots the entire game, and people were like ripping on him. But then people were talking bad about ACUF because he took way too many shots. So I don't know. I saw a lot of flashes with ACUF. Like I thought he really attacked downhill a lot. His 3-point shot wasn't amazing, but I'm not extremely concerned because he shot so well at Arkansas, shot 44% on pretty good efficiency as well. And so I'm not really worried long term. I think there are going to be growing pains throughout the season. But like I said, the Kings are in a position where Acuff should be handing the keys from day one. And I think he's going to have a really good rookie season. I know he's gone rookie of the year talk. I don't know the exact odds off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure he's like third or fourth. So I think he's going to have a really good year. And I don't think Summer League should really be that concerning for Kings fans. If you came away and you're concerned, I just will say go back to the point. Like if you think he played bad, he's automatically a bust, no matter what.
Right.
Drawn by Cam Salerno of CBS. Well, someone that has concerned some of the Kings fans is also his rookie counterpart. That'll be Alex Carabin. My man, Alan Stiles, said he had the handles of Darius Acuff a couple of weeks ago, said he could put it on the floor like Scottie Pippen as a big. But what's your thoughts on Alex Carabin and how he looked in the summer and also last year, of course, being a all-time winner for UConn?
Yeah, I think Alex Carabin is going to be a lot better in like an NBA type environment where there's structure, there's sets, like there's going to be opportunities for him to score on catch and shoot 3-pointers. I think in summer league, it's like if you go down to LA Fitness and you just like hoop with 10 random people who you don't know and you're kind of trying to get into a flow, like most of the games just don't really go that well. And I think Alex Carabin is so good because he plays within structure, and like UConn ran so many complex sets and he just was the brains of that operation. He was so good. But also Alex Carabin isn't really like the most flashy player either. Like he's just a really skilled player. I think he's going to get significant minutes as a rookie throughout the season. I know like he didn't really put up crazy numbers. I think it was like he had 21 points when a lot of the top rookies weren't playing. But I think he's going to adjust a lot better to when he's playing in an actual NBA environment where there's structure, there's sets ran. I mean, I think he's a really good, just complete basketball player. So I'm not really worried about the lack of summer league, where he didn't really play that amazing.
Talking to Cam Salerno of CBS Sports. Cam, I'm going to call it Wally Pip watch. Is Nick Clifford on Wally Pip watch when it comes to Emmanuel Sharp? Jay and I were going back and forth with who's going to be the sixth man anyway, if it will be Malik Monk again. But separately, just from a rotation standpoint, I think a lot of people wanted to see more from Nick Clifford. I know he went in the late first round, but he was a little bit older when he got drafted. What are your thoughts on Nick Clifford and what his role could be and whether or not Emmanuel Sharp might be taking some of those minutes?
Yeah, I mean, Emmanuel Sharp was amazing in Summer League. I thought he shot the ball really well. And, with Nick Clifford, like, he did show flashes throughout his rookie year why he was a first-round pick and why he was an experienced player. But also with Nick Clifford, he's an older rookie, or he was an older rookie last year. And so you kind of want him to dominate Summer League, and he definitely didn't do that. But also he's kind of like a player – not like Carabin, but like he's just not. I don't think he's going to put up like 30, 40 points a night. Like if you're expecting him to have like a Keegan Murray Summer League when he was a sophomore at the California Classic and he dropped like 40 points, that's just not who Nick Clifford is. But the Kings have just like they still have a logjam at the guard position where they have obviously their point guard of the future in Darius Acuff, which I think that's without question. But you have Malik Monk, you have Nick Clifford, you have Emmanuel Sharp. Obviously, you got rid of Devin Carter, which that was just more of a logjam, but I mean, you want to see guys like Emmanuel Sharp play. You want to see guys like Nick Clifford play. And I know they've talked about him being like a point guard. I don't really see that with Nick like at all. I think it's kind of setting him up for failure to be that. Like, can he like handle the ball in like certain like half court sets? Sure, but I don't think putting him at point guard or like having him as Darius's backup would be a good idea. I know you guys talked about like right before it jumped on. I think Malik is way better suited to play the backup one. Like he has experience in doing so. So I think with Nick, like there is a little concern heading into the sophomore year, but like I said, like I think once you get rid of Zach LaVine and his contract is off the books, there are going to be a lot more minutes because like let's be honest, like it's Zach LaVine's going to be the starting shooting guard on opening night if he's on the roster. Like you're not going to bring a $49 million player off the bench as much as I think they should, because they need to prioritize development, and Zach LaVine is definitely not part of this team's future. I would start Nick Clifford on opening night and see how he does, and if he doesn't play well, play Emmanuel Sharp more minutes. But like I said, there's going to be government mandated minutes for Zach LaVine. Unless he's on the roster, he's going to play.
Man, Cam, I was going to say, you're awfully close to that salt water out there thinking that way, brother, in La La Land. Real fast, before we let you go, last one for me. Forget about all this happened this year. I'm already looking towards 27. I'm already looking towards Spears Jr. and Elijah Arenas and Ty Stokes and Branch and everybody else. Give me your thoughts on what you think about NBA Draft 2027. By everybody we've talked about, it seems like a down year, but it feels like every single year there are at least 3 or 4 names that have kind of popped their head out of the turf like a mole. What's your thoughts on the NBA mock draft 2027?
So what's interesting about Spears is he's going to have to play 2 years of college basketball because of the age requirement. And I think the 2028 draft is going to be significantly better than 2027. I will say that right now. For me, the 3 guys that really come to mind are Tyron Stokes at Kansas, Caleb Holt at Arizona, and Jordan Smith Jr. at Arkansas. I really like Caleb Holt a lot. Like, if you had to ask me who would go number 1 instead of Tyron Stokes, I might say Caleb Holt. Like, I think he's going to be a really, really good player at Arizona. But yeah, like you said, like coming into last summer, Keenan Wagler was not on any draft radar whatsoever. And he became the number 5 overall pick. And, 2 years before that, Reed Shepherd was even the best player in his own like recruiting class at Kentucky, and he was the 3rd overall pick. So there's naturally players who just break out and become top 5 picks. The 2027 draft, I think, is going to be a lot, I would say, deeper. Like, I don't want to say it's a deep class at all, because it's not. But I think it's going to be a lot better than people think, just because of all the players who did come back to school. But there is chaos with college athletics right now. You have people who are trying to play a 5th year of college basketball, even though they just graduated, a few months ago. It's going to be chaos. But yeah, I really like 2027. I think it's going to be an interesting year. But if the Kings, if you're that perspective, I would definitely wait for 2028 just because of the new lottery rules. If you get I think it's 3 consecutive top 5 selections or something like that, you get bumped down. So yeah, I would look ahead for 2028. But 2027, there's still going to be some pretty good players in there too.
Well, since you said it, Cam, we know you basically just cemented it. Kings are getting a top 5, top 3 pick in 2027. And you know what? I'll take it anyway. I will take it anyway after what happened this last go-around, even though we're clearly happy with Darius Acuff. Cameron Salerno, National College Basketball Football writer for CBS Sports. A great follow on X. Go check out all of his work on CBS Sports as well. Cameron, thank you so much for joining us, man. Let's talk soon before the season starts. Have a good one.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, that was great stuff from Cameron Salerno. And yeah, the Malik Monk thing, maybe it is more simple than I previously thought, right? Maybe it's just cut and dry. Malik's the backup, just like old times. Maybe I forgot already that he was the backup for one De'Aaron Fox, and that's how it all started. Obviously, him and De'Aaron played together, but he played so well in his role that people wanted the role to change. And once that role changed, that's when things got a little bit squirrely. And I'll never forget Domantas Sabonis saying it's about time. That was the quote. It's about time when Malik Monk joined the starting lineup. But, as we've kind of had a baseball theme today with the trade deadline, just because something happens doesn't mean that it notes your team is moving in the right direction, right? Like, everybody has a 3-hitter. But if there's somebody that has no business hitting three for you, that's probably because your team isn't very good, right? There's somebody, oh yeah, so-and-so's going to hit 3 today. And I know that was the big joke with the Giants. Elliot Ramos, nice player. Right? Other guys that they've had. If so-and-so enter name is batting 3 for you, that's a problem. Now, this is before they went and got Rafi Devers, but that's a problem because you look at the Dodgers and their 5, 6, 7, 8 hitters could probably be the Giants' 3-hitter. That was the conversation. So when Malik Monk became a starter, that's no disrespect to Malik. That doesn't mean that Malik Monk needed to be a starter and is a starter on a good team. That means that the Kings are struggling so much, they're looking for different things. Therefore, Malik became a starter. So it's a different conversation when things happen, right? On a good team, Malik Monk is probably coming off the bench. That's not a negative. That's just reality. Malik Monk ended up being a starter. He played 31 minutes a game last season or 2 seasons ago. And the Kings, well, I guess they technically were the 9 seed, and then they got smacked.
Playing action.
That's right. They got smacked in the play.
Pelicans game.
So there's something to be said about when a player is doing something that maybe they're not good enough to do, or it doesn't fit. I don't want to say good enough, or maybe they're not the best fit to do, but they have to do it because a team is not where it needs to be. You know, Jay, I don't know if you guys did, you know, you have your weekend series, right?
Yep.
Friday through Sunday.
Yep.
And then you had your weekday games.
Yep.
That's when you got to play at a conference, right? Yep. So that would be your spot starter, whoever it is. If your spot starter in a month into the season becomes your Saturday starter, I need to know why. Right? Was it injury? Has he just been cooking? What's the deal? Yeah. Because that doesn't necessarily mean now this player is a Saturday starter. Just because you do, it's the playing in the NBA versus NBA player conversation. A lot of players have played in the NBA, but that doesn't mean they were necessarily NBA players. Now they can say they were.
Right. I get what you're saying.
It's the Isaac Jones conversation that we've had before.
Right.
So when it comes to Malik Monk, would it be nice for him to start? I think we were all very happy when he started. Were the Kings any better when that happened? No, they weren't. So if you go back to your roots, you get him 6th man, 7th man, whatever you want to call it with that big man, and you rock and roll from there, Jay. Just back where it used to be. So thanks to Cam Salerno for kind of walking that back to the good old days. Maybe that'll help, you know, bring back some throwback vibes. Everybody's going throwback now, Jay. Everybody want to wear 80s stuff.
Yeah.
What is that?
And, you know, it's circle of life, right? Things come back in form as they once were. I mean, music nowadays, everybody's remaking the beat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like all the younger artists, you know, 25 and down. And it's the typical. It's the remake a beat, turn it into something that's theirs, and then, you know, my daughter is like, "Oh, this go crazy, Dad." And, you know, you have to sit down and be like, "Yeah, but this came from artists, you know, 30 years ago." It's the same thing. I remember having those conversations. You know, Snoop came out, and Snoop's heavy. You know, he was raised in music. And so he was one of those guys that always paid homage. Ice Cube, guys like that my mom listened to when I was younger. DJ Quick. And they would have something and you hear it, you'd be like, "Oh, this is cold." My mom be like, "Man, that was the Whispers."
Right.
You know, that was the Spinners back in the day. So it's just a circle of life, man. I never want to be the OG who's downplaying the young gun.
No, I know.
But you definitely want to brief them with the information. You got to give them the info. You got to give them game, too, though.
Some of these samples are just too much.
It is.
You're just remaking the song now.
Well, that's the difference. Is you look at stuff like I Got 5 on and the things.
Yeah.
They took a piece, they sampled it, and made it their own with the beat, where these beats are pretty much the same beat.
It's the same thing.
And all they did was take it off one pace or one, you know, one bar off or something like that. And you're looking around and you're like, come on, man, you just sped it up to 124 or, you know, you dropped it down. I'm talking about the speed rate.
Right.
And, you know, it's like, come on, man. Yeah, you ain't fooling nobody. It's the exact same beat. And we're supposed to believe that, you know, you got this, you taking that song to another level?
No.
Nah.
My nephew, he didn't know when they came out with the Wild Thoughts from DJ Khaled. He thought he didn't know anything about Santana and Maria.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, man, you got no idea. None.
Zero.
Thanks again to Cameron Salerno. On the other side, we keep the conversation going. But why is the social media team for the Falcons doing way too much? We'll tell you what we mean by that. More Drive Guys coming up.
This is Sactown, baby! Follow Sactown Sports 1140 on Facebook at facebook.com/Sactown Sports. To keep tabs on the Kings, 49ers, UC Davis, and the entire Sactown Sports lineup all season long. Facebook.com/Sactown Sports. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
Hi, I'm Congressman Kevin Kiley. The most important part of my job is helping the people I represent. That's why I was so honored to receive the National Award for Best Constituent Service. Here's just one of the thousands of people our office has helped.
My name's Dave. I'm a former United States Marine, Vietnam veteran. Because of the fire at the National Archive, my father, along with many other veterans, military records were destroyed. Through the efforts of the Congressman's office, I received very quickly a bronze medallion to affix to my father's grave marker. Thank you, Congressman Kevin Kiley.
As the only independent in the House of Representatives, I always put constituent service first and never ask if someone's a Democrat, Republican, or something else. If you can't get an answer from a federal agency, or if you feel you've been treated unfairly, we are here to help. This is Congressman Kevin Kiley. Visit kiley.house.gov and I'll do everything I can to help you. Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Country in the Park 2, presented by your California Army National Guard, October 23rd at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Russell Dickerson. Plus more. Enjoy line dancing, live DJs, mechanical bull, and food trucks. Tickets start at just $70. Country in the Park 2, October 23rd at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo.
Brought to you by Hyatt Vacation Club and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. More info at CITPFest.com.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin, thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
This is Sactown, baby! Follow Sactown Sports 1140 on Facebook at facebook.com/Sactown Sports. To keep tabs on the Kings, 49ers, UC Davis, and the entire Sactown Sports lineup all season long. Facebook.com/Sactown Sports. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive presents the Museum of You.
We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then, you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with a renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where he can get a battery for under $100. Lonnie, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge, and Lonnie does that for free too. In no time at all, John is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get as loud as you can for Monster Jam!
The one and only Monster Jam. Packed with stunts, smiles, and jaw-dropping skills. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks, like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Sparkle Smash, and more. Only at Monster Jam. Coming to Golden One Center August 15th and 16th. Brought to you by BKT Tires and Morgan & Morgan. Specially priced Saturday night tickets available.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-375-2322. 800-375-2322. 800-375-2322.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KHD-KHD1 Sacramento. KYMX-HD3 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports 1140. Your local sports leader.
Live and local, it's The Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
One more hour with you, and it's been quite the show. All you baseball nerds out there just like me, today was our day. Today was our day as the trade deadline came and went, and I know baseball does a terrible job at marketing this stuff, but a couple big names did go. Giants move off of 6 players. They get a bunch of prospects back in return, and we will find out if these prospects are good or not. Seems like a lot of them, 1 or 2 are ready to go and even have some time in the majors already. But a lot of them are kind of AA, still fairly early on. So we will keep an eye on them, and they had to do it. Unfortunately, you end up being a seller again, and them's the breaks. The A's look like they made one move during the before the trade deadline, and kind of just shrug your shoulders at it because that's what you're doing with the A's right now. 916 is saying, why didn't the Giants do this in 2017, 2018? I begged for it. You're not alone. You're not alone, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Better late than never, isn't that the saying? So better late than never. Never late is better. We've been having a conversation, not about Zach LaVine, a little bit of time on Zach LaVine. Didn't get to that one with Cameron Salerno, but I could imagine Cameron Salerno probably, we did in a way because he brought up the fact that he thinks that the Kings will be starting Zach LaVine, so kind of covered the base there and didn't need to dive any deeper. But we've been spending some time on Malik Monk because he's such a fan favorite as the Giants refuse to move Jung-Hoo Lee because of, not just because of marketing reasons, but that came out and Giants fans were all ticked off because he's a fan favorite and he brings people to the ballpark. But Malik Monk, I think, brings people to the arena. If you were to guess who is the most purchased jersey outside of Westbrook, because we know that's a little bit different, it might be Sabonis. I know Keegan's probably up there, but Malik got to be up there too, right? And as the pizza guy, he dunks, very electric player. Where does he fit on this roster? Where does he fit? So we've been having that conversation, and the 530 chimes in and says, has Scott Perry ever talked about Malik Monk? That's from the 530. I'm be honest with you. The last time I heard Scott Perry initiate a conversation about Malik Monk was last offseason when, it was basically, it came out that they were shopping Malik Monk. Now, as a GM, you don't say we're shopping a player, right? But the last time we knew where the Kings were at with Malik Monk was during that time. Then I believe on these airwaves, Scott Perry said before the season, we're very comfortable with Malik Monk coming back into training camp. We're all on the same page. And that was it, right? I don't think he ever was off the market in terms of a garage sale. He was still out there, but we just stopped talking about it because teams weren't interested. Now, the last time I heard about Scott Perry talk about Malik Monk when it comes to somebody initiating the conversation was when he had that presser about a month ago, maybe a little bit more than that, and he took questions, and somebody asked about the backup point guard position, and he said not only did he said they would do it by committee, and then he was asked a follow-up question, and with the follow-up question, he finally brought up Malik Monk. He brought up Nick Clifford as well, but brought up Malik Monk. But to your question, 530, that's really the only thing that we have heard as far as Scott Perry. And let's be honest, 530, what is there to say? You know? What is there to say? We kind of know what it is. Malik Monk, 1 year and a player option left, so let's just call it 2 years because I believe it's still, $20 mil? Whatever it is, he's not going to opt out of that. I can tell you that right now. You see some of these contracts that these boys getting these days, and Malik Monk ain't getting $21 million in a year.
Keep it, Malik.
He ain't doing that.
Don't let it go, baby.
So, and it's an ascending contract. So it started at 17 in 2025. Last season it was 18.7 in 2026. Now he's cracked the $20 million mark in his age 28 season, and his player option is for $21.5 million.
Take care of y'all chicken.
Yes, he will. Yes, you will. So you don't got to worry about Malik Monk opting out. Now, I don't know if somebody is swayed into grabbing him once he's expiring, but this is no disrespect to Malik, Jay. I don't see a lot of teams right now signing up for Malik at 2 years, $40 million. I don't think that's going to happen. And that has nothing to do with Malik. That's just the market.
Yeah.
That's just the market.
It's the CBA. The strangle on the CBA right now, right?
Exactly.
Even though they worth $72 billion, or $76 billion they signed real fast. I think you forgot because he's no longer on the roster and they bought him out and so on and so forth. But DeMar DeRozan had the number 2 selling jersey for the Sacramento Kings last year. Yeah.
So one
Deebo
was obviously Westbrook.
Yeah, Westbrook, Deebo, then Domas. Top 3. Those are 3 that registered in the top 100.
You know, that makes me happy.
Yeah, come on, man.
I really didn't know how people felt about DeMar DeRozan because things changed.
Legend, bro.
I know he is, but things change so much, and
understood.
You get stuck, and I know people tell me all the time, get off social media, but you get stuck in, the social media world and all the negativity that you see. Stop playing him so much, and I got caught up in it too, and we need the draft pick. So I'm glad that there are a bunch of fans that wanted to show Deebo or felt that connection to Deebo, because that's something I didn't really know where he fit.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he beat out
Domas?
Or maybe even Keegan?
Keegan was out of sight, out of mind.
Homegrown?
He was, yeah. I think, I'm not even trying to go down this conversation today. I think Keegan is coming up to the line with Kings fans, kind of a la Harrison Barnes, where you kind of have to make a decision on, and I hate it to be like this because he's on your team, so you have to root for him, right? And I don't say that in a negative tone. I just think there are a lot of fans who are kind of at the crossroads with Keegan.
Yeah.
And so, when you have a lot of fans like that, people tend not to, dive and invest their money into, some of the people they dislike or don't want to support as much or don't really know. And this the other thing about jerseys is how many times, talking about social network, you see people on social network that's, fans of the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
And they go all the way back. Well, I got this jersey and I got that jersey and then I had to buy this jersey. And, man, if you just bought all the quarterback jerseys of the Cleveland Browns, you'd be stuck.
Yeah.
With a lot of money out your pocket. So I think Keegan, even though he had signed a deal somewhat heading into the season, some people had questioned, was he going to be around? Then he got hurt. He was kind of out of sight, out of mind. And then also with Deebo, DeMar DeRozan, he also had the 3rd year pending on his deal. So it was kind of like, okay, well, I might buy that jersey. He's a bona fide Hall of Famer. He's playing for your squad. I'll give you an example. Somebody that played on this team that I had an opportunity to rock with a little bit is Vince Carter. I regret not getting a Vince Carter Kings jersey. Now I'm saying I can't go get one, get one made, but just to be like, no, Vince Carter? You know, like Vince signed some shoes and stuff for me, but I never thought about getting it done on the Kings apparel.
Right.
You know, it was always North Carolina stuff or stuff like that. And I got to know him decently. Good dude, but I never, for whatever reason, I overlooked the fact that I could have got a Kings Vince Carter jersey.
Yeah. And that's the other weird thing. You don't get jerseys. Yeah, they don't stay on the shelf.
No,
you got to
sir.
go through the different channels in order to get them.
Specially made. And
yeah
man.
I think the DeRozan thing, because of everything that happened after he got out here and it happened quickly, I'm not going to say we tend to forget. I'll only speak for myself. You know, you can tend to forget how big of a deal it was when DeMar DeRozan signed. Like outside of is this fit going to work and things like that, this was a pretty darn big name choosing to come to Sacramento.
Yeah.
And he got walked out there during summer or during the Cali Classic, and the vibes were right. And, I think a lot of people don't blame DeMar for the demise of the team, and they shouldn't.
Yeah.
They shouldn't. You know, he signed up. DeMar DeRozan came here and did what he's done throughout his career. The man got buckets.
Yep.
You know, all that other stuff of
professional.
Why can't he, why can't he shoot threes, or why isn't he a high-level defender? Y'all signed a 33, 34-year-old. He's going to be who he is. You're supposed to build something around him that fits. And you have to make a decision, okay, here's the hierarchy. De'Aaron's going to do his thing. Then you got De'Aaron deferring. But DeMar was as advertised.
Yep.
He was.
Pretty much.
You on the day of the MLB trade deadline, you trade for people, you sign people, and sometimes they don't give you what you wanted, right? They're not as advertised. DeMar DeRozan was. Maybe it wasn't a great fit, but people had those question marks before he got here. But he held up his end of the bargain. So as much as I'm surprised that it was DeMar DeRozan at number 2, I shouldn't be. Because DeMar DeRozan, remember when Nick Castellanos was a big get for the Phillies? That brother did not held up his end of the bargain.
That way you pulled that name out the hat.
Because I remember it was a big deal.
You must have been in the area at the time.
Yeah, when the Phillies got him, and the brother couldn't do anything. I think he was with your Padres for a hot second, and now he's cooked. So when you make these acquisitions, all you hope for is that they hold up their end of the bargain. DeMar DeRozan did that. All that other stuff on the outside, he can't control that. It's not his job to control that. So
you get you a Deebo jersey, bruh?
No, but now I'm not really a jersey guy.
Okay.
I don't even think I own an NBA jersey, period.
Man,
that's not true.
I got a couple.
I got a couple.
Yeah.
But a lot of them been gifts, versus
same.
me going out
purchasing them
and grabbing one of them. 916 is saying Keegan and Harrison Barnes are both from Iowa. Is there there's something going on in Iowa? They're just very chill, laid back. Hey, man, I'm going to let life just come to me.
You know what? But weren't we told that Keegan was a hothead?
I don't remember that.
That's what we heard. Yes. Remember, this is probably before you came here.
Yeah.
It was told to us that Keegan had a huge attitude on the floor. And somewhere along the line, coaches, I believe, like in high school, he was, a hothead. And then freshman year or whatever at Iowa, or maybe leading up to that, they were like, yo, you need to settle down. And something snapped and he just kind of settled down. But for a while, he was supposed to be Draymond.
Right.
Like, that's the way it was sold to us.
See, man, I want that. He needs to unlock that.
Well, I think just what you said about Deebo is kind of the same thing. I think he is who he is at this point. And for me, that's all the way around. Now, I'm saying, can he be penciled in? One of the things in working in the league, one of the things I'll always remember, coaches, front office people, they always say, yo, Jay, the one thing as a professional is we need to be able to pencil in the consistency of what you produce. The stars will take us to the next level.
Right.
But as a role player, as a bench player, as someone that's outside of the top 3 or whatever on each roster in the NBA, I need to know every single night that you're going to give me whatever that you normally give me. Hence your average.
Yeah.
And that was something that I always remember working in the league, especially for the Clippers. Hey, yo, he is penciled in at 12.5 points and 4 rebounds and 5 assists every single night. Mm-hmm. And that's what I expect. Anything above that, little frosting on top.
Yeah.
Anything below that, I'm hoping my star makes up for it on that night, right? And so that's the way I seen Harrison, and for me, that's the way I see his other Iowa compadre, Keegan. I think they're in the same boat. Now, Keegan, I think what people are asking for Keegan is get back to what we've already seen you do, which is his rookie year.
Yeah.
But, sometimes you got to take a spade as a spade, Alan. Sometimes maybe that year was the outlier. Because that team was the outlier for the organization, too.
Well, that's what we always say about, again, with the baseball theme with MLB trade deadline. What do you look like once there's a scouting report, right? How do you adjust to the adjustment? Dude comes in from AAA, nobody knows who you are, and is out of his mind, right? Now, after a year, after 150, 200 ABs, whatever it is.
Got the book on you.
Yeah. Hey, now you're going to see that. We saw that with Daniel Susac, right? First 50 at-bats. Yo, we got Mike Piazza. The A's got rid of Mike Piazza. Why'd they do that? Then they decided, okay, he doesn't like that pitch there, or he'll reach there. Then comes the adjustment to the adjustment. So to your point, Jay, and some of it has been friendly fire with the Kings and bringing in DeRozan and some guys that maybe took shots away from Keegan.
Right.
We haven't seen the adjustment to the adjustment from Keegan Murray, and that's what we're hoping to see. Speaking of attitude, Jay, Sam Amico, Hoops Wire, talks to an NBA scout. I wouldn't touch him in a million years. Talking about another former King, number 1 on the jersey list, Russell Westbrook. I wouldn't touch him in a million years, the scout said. You can't rely on him in terms of what's going to happen. Yeah, he'll have great games, sure, but he can't shoot. He plays his own way. He's not going to fit into a system, and he doesn't really defend. Wow. He'll put up some numbers, and he'll win you some games. In terms of truly building a winning team, you don't get him on your team. That is from, of course, an anonymous scout. And the scout added that Westbrook is still capable of producing numbers, but he doesn't view the 9-time All-Star as someone who helps build a championship caliber roster. There's been kind of limited. He was speaking to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. And at this point, we heard the Wizards. Did we hear Miami, or am I making that up? That was DeRozan, I think, with Miami.
A combo plate.
And I don't know. I just feel like in these situations, my question is, have they talked to Russell Westbrook, right? Have they said, whoever's interested in Russ, hey, would you do X, Y, and Z? Or do they just feel like it's a lost cause, right? You know what? Whatever Russ got going on, we know who he is. Or is it they've talked to him and Russ said, yeah, I'm kind of just going to do what, I'm me. I'm going to do what I got to do. Right. And that is what it is. So I don't know. Fair or foul, Jay, on these words. I think both of us are on the same page with the whole anonymous thing, but we get it.
Yeah.
I from what I saw last season, and this is what, didn't want to get in trouble, but when I reference Russ ball, it does become that's the offense is Russ is going to push, he's going to distribute. That's what it is. Very similar to DeMar DeRozan. If that's not your bag, that's not your bag as far as whatever team that is. But I do think there's a team out there that could use 10, 15 minutes of Russ ball a night. It ain't all bad. So I'm not surprised of the idea that he's not going to fit into a quote-unquote system, but I am surprised that there haven't been more teams that feel as if, look, even the Russ system for a couple minutes a game, we can use that in some capacity. But Yeah, I mean, he's not signed yet, and I don't know when that's going to happen.
I'll say this, Alan, and this isn't just a Russ conversation this year, not last year. I think it's been going on for 6-7 years, feels like. And I could be wrong in pinpointing the exact time of it, but it feels like over the last 4, 5, 6 years, when it comes to Russ and guys like Russ, that two things normally happen. Number one, we get the negative tone, negative connotation of who that player is versus what really seems to have happened, right? Like, to me, there's a stereotype out there about how Russ operates and how he moves among a team. But I've yet to hear any players come out and say that.
Right.
Like, I don't hear none of his teammates come out and be like, yo, Russ is this or Russ is that. And I'm not saying a bad teammate, because I think we're having a conversation about him being ball dominant, him kind of moving to the own beat of his own drum on the court, things of that nature. But when you listen to Russ talk, like even going back to the beginning of last season, the very first two conversations I remember at press conference, which was a standing scrum and then he had a sit down, one of the things he said twice, you can go back and look at it, was, yo, I'm here to do it all.
Yeah.
He never came out like, look, this is my team. This is my roster. I'm taking it over. Give me the ball and watch me do me. Like, he never says that.
Yeah.
And to be quite frank, as much as people believe that's how he plays, that's not true. I think it goes back to the form of his issue with the Thunder, Kevin Durant. James Harden kind of got kicked out of there before, but I think it goes back to like that stigma, that time when it comes to Russ. And so it just kind of always is carried behind Russ. It's like, oh, he's ball dominant. He's never going to be a good teammate. Like, you hear all these different negative things about Russ, and it's not true. Now, is he very aggressive? Is he kind of a no-nonsense type of guy? Has there been some things when it comes to like fan situations, things like that? Absolutely. But I don't see a lot of that carry over to the play of who he is, right? Like, nobody, for me, if you like Russ or you dislike Russ, you have to at least call it what it is. And Alan, I'm not seeing a lot of negative stuff come from Russ's teammates. You don't hear organizations pop out, and maybe they should. I don't know. Maybe anonymous people are saying it through the NBA circles and we're missing or not hearing it. But I don't hear a lot of people dislike Russ when he leaves a place.
Yeah.
It just feels like, for whatever reason, it's just been something that is, he acquired and it's just going to forever be with him. And I don't know why. I really don't.
Two things I think changed Russ's narrative. When Kevin Durant left, and it kind of felt like, hey, we're going to get Russ this MVP. Not to say he didn't earn it, but, the clips of Steven Adams getting out of the way so Russ can get his the triple-double stuff, people didn't like.
Yeah.
That's number one. Even though he won an MVP, people felt like he was a stat hunter, and to this day, I don't think he's been able to avoid that narrative. The second thing, Jay, is everything went south when he went to the Lakers, right? He is still working back from all of the weirdness that happened out there in LA when he's, hey, that clip where he says, let's just have fun and all this stuff.
Right.
When you play with LeBron and it just didn't work, he's still to this day, I think, feels that. And those are the two things to me that negatively affected how people view Russell Westbrook.
The Laker one's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't really thought about that. The OKC one, I totally agree.
Right.
I think it's Durant leaving and people feeling like Russ had some form or fashion, a helping hand of him leaving.
He left you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like that's the negative tone that I feel Russ is going to consistently, and has for the most part, probably till he retires. If he does this year, there's been questions as if he's going to retire. That's the other part. That's the thing with Russ. But I'll also say this, not just leaning one side. I've said this about Iverson multiple times because that was my guy, using as an example. He had a lot left in the tank. But the NBA, according to him, said, we need you to come off the bench, AI. We don't want you to be the starter and the star and all those things. And he chose to say, nah, I'm leaving now. I'm good. I don't want to come off the bench. That's not me.
Right.
However he's seen fit. And to me, that's the one thing that I do, the detractors of Russ that we can say is, has anyone came to Russ and said, this is your position, this is how we need you to operate within our organization and on this ball club? And if so, if Russ has become a stat chaser,
right,
the negative people would say, and he's continued to play the way that he has when people have sat down and put it all on the table in the beginning and he chose to not listen to it, then that I'm open to. Mm-hmm. I just haven't heard a lot of people come out and say that.
Yeah.
So I'm interested about Russ.
Right. And then there's a whole anonymous thing. You know, when anything gets said, it's anonymous.
Of course.
So that's part of it too. But I think he will get picked up. I don't think there is a snowball's chance in a very hot place that Russell Westbrook plays overseas. I don't see that. I don't see it. I don't see that.
I think
happening.
He retires before.
I would agree.
Yeah. I think, the one thing in my perception of Russ Westbrook is I think he is very solidified in who he is, his career, where he's came from, where he's been, and where he's going. I take that from him as a man. When I listen to him have a conversation, albeit sometimes it's a very difficult one, albeit sometimes it comes off as confrontational, I respect a lot of how he moves and operates. And to be honest, there are a lot of people who are turned off by that. And I recognize that too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people don't want to have the difficult conversations. I think Russ is the type of person who's more comfortable in just meeting it head on. And I think he's just a product of his environment where he comes from, and you could take the time to go look at his life and hear his stories. And I'm not saying that's always the best way to go about it. I'm not saying that. But I also respect him in the form that he doesn't shy away from the difficult, sometimes controversial things and conversations. And in this league, stars are coddled a lot. And celebrities are coddled a lot and given a lot. They receive a lot of free things. And they get their leeway. The leeway is a very long leash sometimes.
Right.
And I think Russ, he doesn't take advantage of that. I think he kind of goes at it at his own pace and the way he wants to. And I think some people are just turned off by that.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Right.
You don't have to be a fan of it.
Right. Yeah, it's his prerogative to be that way. It's your prerogative to agree or disagree. He is a dude, though. Everybody got these podcasts these days. I'd love to hear Russ, when it's all said and done, he has to say about some of this stuff. I'm not going to say what players I don't need to hear from, but there's way too many these days, and I'd like to hear what Russ has to say about a lot of this stuff. What's cooking when we return? These social media teams, they're doing too much now. They're doing too much, namely the Atlanta Hawks. Drive, guys. Don't move.
Like and subscribe to the Sactown Sports 1140 YouTube channel at Sactown Sports 1140 to get the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Matt and Kayla, and the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles on demand and at your fingertips. Get your fix of the Sacramento Kings, 49ers, Giants, Athletics, NFL, NBA, and the latest in sports and entertainment all in one place at Sactown Sports 1140 on YouTube. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
Progressive knows you've got plenty of things to worry about.
What time does the kids' practice end? How long has that check engine light been on? Are takeout containers microwave safe?
So the last thing you should have to worry about is what to do if something unexpected happens on the road. That's why if you're ever in a major accident, Progressive's accident response can detect it and send help. It's just one less thing to worry about.
How long does chicken last in the fridge?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Limited availability in California. Driver is responsible for emergency and towing charges not covered by the policy.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This summer, there are 250 reasons to join T-Mobile.
Girls trip? Booked. And switching to T-Mobile helped make it happen.
With Experience Beyond, switch and get $100 back. Plus, $650 in value in built-in plan benefits. That's $750 in your first year, guaranteed.
And honestly, that $100 back, I'm putting it towards the zip line.
Now that's how you do summer.
Exactly. Best switch I ever made.
This is just one reason to join T-Mobile this summer. There are 250 reasons. Find yours.
Savings based on the value of benefits included with Experience Beyond, like entertainment and 1 year of AAA Classic and Dash Pass on us. Benefits may require activation. See plan for details. Get $100 via virtual prepaid MasterCard with eligible ported, no cash access, and expires in 6 months. Issued by Sunrise Banks, N.A. member FDIC. Allow 8 weeks.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Order up, Sacramento.
And for you, sir?
I will have the gabagool. The dinner bell rang, and it's time to find out what's on the menu.
Lunch? Oh, you gotta be kidding. Lunch is for whips.
So fire up the grill and crank up the burners, because it's time to find out what's cooking on the Drive Guys.
Give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Do you understand?
Here's Whitey Gleason and Alan Stiles.
I'll have what she's having.
We are still cooking, even though Whitey Gleason probably having some ahi or some poke, something like that. But we're still cooking out here, and it's cooking outside, by the way, too. Make sure you stay hydrated. Let me check this. Are we still in the triple digits or what? I'm looking here.
Probably $1 change.
104?
Yes, sir.
That's what we got going, 104. It is quite the heat wave. And we are cooking today with the social media teams that are doing too much. Well, what do I mean by that? A couple months ago, I believe it was the Nationals or the Orioles. Okay, it was I know it was a team back east, and they were asking the players what they like to do at this very famous mall in the area. Well, it ended up not looking great because, players play for a city. A lot of them got families, whatever the case is. And they don't necessarily connect to the city. They're not going to the mall, right? These guys are millionaires. They're not doing a lot of these things. And they posted the video anyway. I can't remember if it was the Nationals or the Orioles, and people thought, why? What is the point of this, right? It didn't make anybody look good. Well, there is a new one, which is much worse, but it's almost like the blue dress or the gold dress, but it's a math problem. The Atlanta Falcons social media having some fun at training camp. They showed a math problem to the Atlanta Falcons. Solve the PEMDAS problem.
Equation. Come on, man. Equation.
That's right. Well, I'm reading it. They say problem on Atlanta Falcons on their post. And they say 6 divided by 2, parentheses, 1 plus 2, close parentheses, and then equals what? So there's already a lot of conversation that goes on about athletes and whether they got to go to class and all this stuff. I thought the Falcons did pretty good, right? Now, Jay, this has caused quite the conversation because there are two answers floating around. So how I remember PEMDAS, if it's 6 divided by 2, parentheses 1 plus 2, close parentheses, and that's the end of the equation.
Right.
How I did it was you do the parentheses first.
Yes.
That's 3. And then you multiply 2 times 3, because 3 is still in the parentheses.
Yes, sir.
So 6 divided by now 6 is 1. Now, on the video, it sounds like the players that said 1 are correct. But there's somebody that replied saying, well, actually, after you close the parentheses, you do the equation in the parentheses, it's left to right before PEMDAS. So people are now saying, Jay, it's this big debate that it would be 3, but then after the 3, you would multiply. What was it? You would multiply it, right? So that would be 6, or excuse me, you divide the 6 by the 2. So then it would be 3 times the 3 that's left. So the answer would be 9.
No.
So the new blue dress versus gold dress is the answer 1 or 9. I thought it was 1. I felt very proud with myself, but everybody is, and we could just obviously take it to Chat GPT at this point, but that's been the conversation, Jay. Somebody put it in a calculator, and I guess the calculator said the answer was 9. So this has been a very big conversation, Jay. It's been very big. Did you see this?
I did.
And what was did you have 1 or 9?
I had 1.
Okay. That's what I thought.
The way PEMDAS, and we just talked about this last week.
We did.
They must have been listening to the show. Because you just don't see a PEMDAS equation jump out at a protein all of a sudden after us having a conversation. The way we were taught is you do the parentheses. Multiplication becomes in front of division.
Yes.
Hence, the 3 times the 2 is 6 divided by 6 is 1.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
You don't just automatically go left to right. That's not what PEMDAS is.
What is the point of PEMDAS if nobody is looking at it?
Man, I don't know, man.
So
we got this new math.
Now, I guess it worked because 10.5 million views, nearly 5,000 likes for the Falcons. And like I said, there's the whole conversation of these players don't go to school and they don't know anything. They actually did pretty good. Besides, somebody said the answer was 4. I don't really know what he got going on, but everybody else.
Is it 4? Oh, yeah, I don't know.
But everybody else,
upside down.
Worked it out. So if you saw that on social media, please chime in because Jay and I are going back and forth. I got 1.
I got 1.
Okay, I got 1.
Order of operations, my brother.
I'm going to throw it in chat just to see what they got to say. Okay, at this point, Jay. Here we go. The expression is 6 divided by 2, 1 plus 2. First, evaluate the parentheses, which we did. Okay, that's 3.
Yeah.
Now the expression becomes 6 divided by 2 times 3. At this point, division and multiplication have equal precedence. What? You perform left to right. 6 divided by 2 is 3, then 3 times 3. The answer is 9. Why do people argue it's 1? Some people interpret 2 parentheses 3 as a single grouped denominator, but that's not how standard order of operations work. Parentheses themselves don't give multiplication any higher priority than division once the parentheses have been evaluated. And this is why I always hated algebra, algebra 2, all this garbage nonsense. You don't need it. You don't need to do it. And that's a perfect example. You learn PEMDAS,
right,
and then PEMDAS don't work.
Right. What is the point of that?
Come on, man.
Wow. So multiplication and division equal once you've already are equal.
Yes.
No one takes.
Even though M is before D in PEMDAS.
Right. That's PEMDAS. That's why we remember it. Wow.
530 says the answer is in the acronym PEMDAS. You do the M before division.
Right.
Not according to chat. So that's been the big conversation. The answer is, I guess, 9. And I got hives.
What?
Because I knew I nailed it. I go to the comments, the answer is 9. And I got mad all over again from 9th grade, 10th grade. It ticked me off. I said, you know what? This is why I didn't want to do this stupid stuff to begin with. But apparently, the answer is 9.
So technically, even though multiplication is in front of the order of operations is in front of division, once you take care of the parentheses, and according to ChatGPT, it says the parentheses next to the number does not, what did it say?
Yeah, it says some people interpret 2 times the 3 as a single group denominator, but that's not how standard order of operations works. The parentheses themselves don't give multiplication any higher priority once the parentheses have been taken care of.
Once you've got the results of it.
Pretty much. So then you just go left or right.
That's what PEMDAS told us.
This is the type of stuff I'm talking about, right? Yeah. This is why you get rid of the SAT. Now they're starting to bring the SATs back.
They are starting to bring it back.
The
way
SATs,
anymore,
ACTs, I'm sick of it, Jay.
Man, I'm with you.
So that's what's cooking. The social media account needs to stop playing around. And PEMDAS, what is this? The Mandela effect? We were talking about this in Vegas. I remember things differently now. I don't remember it like this, Jay. And I got ticked off all over again.
Kimberly Farr says, 72 says, rules are rules until they aren't rules.
That's what I'm saying.
You're 1,000% right, Kim.
Stupid.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, though. Because that's what PEMDAS had told us, the order of operations. But so basically it's like, once you do the parentheses, if it comes down to multiplication and division, they're weighed the same. So then you go like left to right. That's stupid. That's not what was taught to us.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
It's dumb.
But maybe that, that, like I said, that's why I wasn't popping in math. But chime in, let me know if you agree or disagree, because this PEMDAS thing is a bit ridiculous. To close out the show, look, it's been a lot of fun talking about Major League Baseball and the trade deadline. But are they going to play next year? How bad could the MLB lockout actually be? One more to close out the show for you. Drive, guys. We'll be right back.
49ers wide receiver Ricky Pearsall will have surgery on his right knee and be placed on season-ending injured reserve. With so many moving parts in the receiver room, who will become the top target for Brock Purdy alongside Mike Evans and George Kittle? Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Dirk Verdorn in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Clear skies and warm temperatures tonight. We'll get a little bit more of a breeze, though. That'll help to drop temperatures into the mid to low 60s by Tuesday morning. And then we'll have more heat with daytime highs up around 100 degrees. Get the latest forecasts on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Oh, the Sacramento heat. Right now, get your AC professionally tuned up for as low as just $59 and enjoy your summer nice and cool. Plumbing, electrical, heating, and air, Bonnie.com. Summer restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Live and local, it's The Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
We started with the MLB trade deadline, and we're going to end with a question mark as far as where Major League Baseball is headed with this lockout situation. Real quick, some notes here. The Giants very, very busy. They kicked out 6 players, sent them packing. Luis Arraez being one of them, Robbie Ray another, and Elliot Ramos probably the biggest surprise on the day. And Buster Posey kind of spoke to some of it. The media, he had that availability. Buster Posey on a very busy deadline. I guess the message is we're not satisfied with the way we've played this year and the last few years, and we're trying everything we can to continue to build a product that we can all be excited to come and watch. And that was really the goal. Even if we have to subtract a little bit now, we can potentially add some players that we think our fans are excited about and hopefully wear a Giants uniform for a long time. He was asked about Adames, Devers, and Chapman, the 3 big contracts. Buster Posey said they made it known to teams they were willing to talk about anyone. Added, we feel there's a lot of great baseball to play. We are glad that they're going to be San Francisco Giants. So we told people you can come get them, and then nobody came and got them. So the kind of weird situation with the Giants and Harrison Bader after that ridiculous fire truck crash off the scooter. Buster Posey said there's nothing new on the Harrison Bader front. Said they're still gathering information and wishing Bader the best in his recovery. We ain't paying him, though. I'm kidding. He did not say that at the end. But they are not paying him. They are trying not to pay him. The Giants added Beck, Kennedy, San Martin, Seymour, and Tidwell to the roster. Tidwell will start tomorrow night. There are players short tonight and plan to add an outfielder tomorrow. Give me Bo. Bo Davidson, it's your time, baby. Not yet. He just got the AAA. But a guy can dream. Maybe we'll see him before the season ends. Because once the season ends, I don't know when we're going to see Bo Davidson or any Major League Baseball players. Because the Dodgers did what the Dodgers do. And I got a little bit of tinfoil here on a Monday as the Dodgers get Tarek Skubal, and they get him for a 27-year-old River Ryans.
Man.
2 other prospects.
Hope.
And people are questioning this. And why are they questioning this? Man. Well, the Brewers who are in the mix. Jay, remember that list where I said the Padres, your Padres, had the worst farm system in Major League Baseball? You want to take a guess who had the best system in Major League Baseball?
I mean, Dodgers?
Dodgers would be number 2.
Brewers?
The Milwaukee Brewers.
You said it.
With the number 1 farm system. With their guy, that crazy rotation they would have right now, and they don't make a play for Tarek Skubal?
Man.
Now, why exactly would that happen? I don't know, Alan, but I really would like you to tell me. Well, I'm going to do just that. Maybe there's a conversation somewhere, I don't know where, internal agreement with these owners. We know the Brewers, their owner said, is it my job to bring you a championship or to have a really fun summer? Maybe that's just it. Now, tinfoil hat out there, some believe that there could be an internal agreement with Major League Baseball owners to let the Dodgers get this three-peat, lose the battle to win the war. Because if the Dodgers three-peat, there is no conversation to be had. Remember last season, if the Blue Jays win, maybe there won't be a lockout because even though the Blue Jays, I believe, are top 5 in payroll or top 7, if the Blue Jays win, that would show that everyone is competitive enough, right? And we don't need a lockout even though the Dodgers are spending all this money. If the Dodgers continue winning, the owners have a better argument that they need a lockout. So was there an underground Denver airport handshake agreement
what, man?
With the owners to say, you know what? If we let the Dodgers cook and get this three-peat, nobody has any legs to stand on when it comes to this lockout. Hey, we have to have a salary cap. We have to do it. We have no choice. Look at the Dodgers. They are a juggernaut. If we want to compete with them, we have to implement a salary cap. So I'm not saying that's true, Jay, but I'm saying there are those throwing that theory around, and it makes a little bit of sense to me. Because if you don't think you're going to be able to beat them anyway, you know what? Go ahead, Dodgers. Do what you got to do. Then on the back end, when it's time for negotiations, hey, we need a salary cap. This team has destroyed baseball. Now, initially, even as a Giants fan, I said I thought it was good for baseball, what the Dodgers were doing. It disgusted me to say that, but I did say that because I liked having a villain, and I liked that the Dodgers, in theory, were pressing and pushing other teams. But we have passed that, right? These owners, they're looking at the Dodgers like a Deshaun Watson contract. We ain't doing that. That's an aberration. We're not matching that. So, Jay, that's just a little tinfoil for you on a Monday.
I can accept it.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past anybody because it gives the owners a lot more backbone to have those conversations. So this is from Duren Sam of BR. And it says
of where?
Of BR.
Okay.
Give it a little abbreviation.
Yeah,
Try
to
sneak it by you. Try to sneak. Hey, I got all my guys coming
Man,
on this
listen,
week.
let me
You
say
saw
this.
the list.
Let me say this. You jumped on the list this week. First of all, we didn't have a conversation real fast. I got to sneak this in. So normally, Alan doesn't book near guests. Near. Now, I say that in tongue in cheek every now and then. He's got his guys. He'll say throw him on. He makes it happen. Literally last night, I think I was laying in the bed watching Mario, the new movie, Super Galaxy, the latest one or whatever. I get a look, and Alan's got the whole week booked out. He's already got it booked out. He's got Cam Salerno and all these other guys or gals coming on this week. And I'm like, oh, wow. I said, Alan just jumped right on top of it. Okay, no doubt. It's all good, bro. We holla. And I'm sitting there thinking in my mind, wait a minute. Let me go back and look at some of the people that's on there. And the first person I see, because at the time, the first time you sent it to me was a BR guest.
Right.
And I immediately, I'm just upstairs in our room dying. And everybody else in the house, they're all in the room, downstairs, all that stuff. Like, why are you laughing? But I guess everybody just thought it was a movie. I had to crack up, bro. Let me just tell you. The first person I see said BR. I said I should have known.
You should have.
Then I went down. I was like, oh, BR.
Yep,
Okay,
I got
BR.
about three of them.
Yeah. I think you got the whole roster.
I got everybody, and there are more coming.
Mine is Zach Buckley.
That's right.
Zach is not part of the crew, right?
Well, he can be.
Okay.
But once I reach out a couple times, hey, take care of yourself.
Have you ever, and I don't think you have because you don't want to talk about another person while they're not there, but have you ever inquired, yo, Andy, what's up with Zach? Tell him to holler at me. Like, have you ever done that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I got a strong enough roster.
I got you.
I got a strong enough roster as is. I got my guys. Yeah, and man. you're gonna
They're
hear
all
from
here
them.
this week.
They're all here this week.
They're here.
Okay.
There are some people. I was like, what? Okay.
Then I sent you another one.
Yeah.
I
updated it.
I was feeding the baby and just fired off about 10 texts.
I got you.
10 texts. So then they came in from today and yesterday. Yeah. So then once I knew you were going to clown me and they kept coming in, I didn't even want to send it back to you. I'm like, I got bored, Jay.
I knew it. I figured.
Yeah.
And I even threw it out. I said, dog, don't worry about it. I'll connect for a few of them. And then next text I got back here, I said, oh, well, never mind. Yeah. All right. No, yeah, man.
You know what? I told you, man.
You did.
I had to just get it taken care of. We got some spots in there still.
There's a few.
We got some spots in there, man. But speaking of, basically the idea is Ken Rosenthal reported that Major League Baseball is likely headed toward a lockout after the 2026 season, which we all kind of already knew. But Tarek Skubal going to the Dodgers having major ramifications. I know a lot of people were wondering, well, Alan, that's a trade. What does that have to do with the lockout? That's a trade. Yeah, I mean, it's already come out that Skubal's probably going to re-sign with the Dodgers when he's able to. So just the idea that the Dodgers whether it's the draft picks that they acquire, they do have a really good farm system. Some of it's a little bit ballooned, if you ask me. So the problem is there's just too much power. I mean, their rotation is absolutely ridiculous. And Shohei's not throwing right now, but Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, now you add Skubal. It's just ridiculous. And Ken Rosenthal says, the hysteria is coming. The lockout is coming. And amid all the noise, something important will be obscured. The Dodgers are good at this, better than everyone else. Okay? So this is going to be a problem. And I don't know. It's sad, man. It's sad.
You know, Alan, I'll say this. As much as, and Skubal just said it pregame, he said, basically kind of taking a shot to everyone, repping his new squad. He's like, everybody could have traded for me.
Right.
You shouldn't be mad at the Dodgers for doing so. Now, I'm paraphrasing. With that being said, he is true in the form that a lot of teams, not everybody, a lot of teams could have traded for him.
Yeah.
Because there are some teams who just don't play by those type of rules. Right. They don't spend the money. They don't want to spend the money. And they don't operate their own organization that way. But I'll say this. I had to do some more research on deferred contracts.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, they just extremely got too much talent. And that's an outsider looking in. As a Dodger fan, you're like, who cares? So what, right? But it's, how are you able to get away with not paying everyone percentages, time, all these different things? And I will say this, there's only a few other teams who operate in deferred contracts.
Right.
And I also saw a stat, and forgive me from, not knowing where it was from, but someone, I think it's Front Office Sports, if I'm not mistaken, they were talking about how the Dodgers have close to, $800 million in deferred contracts, where the next closest team is $100 million. So if I'm a fan and I'm looking at the way baseball is operating at the moment, yes, you're upset because you're like, man, my team could probably do the same. Especially if you're a Met, a Cub, a Brave, probably even a Giant, National, Philly, Yankee, probably Cardinal, something like that. You're probably a little upset about it, right? But the second part of it is, the Dodgers are good at what they do. And you hate to admit it. I just hate to admit it. Because they have a huge cash, a lump sum, but they're executing and they're maximizing on all the rules. It hurts, man, because you're like, dude, somebody step up and, battle them. And honestly, Toronto was a pot fly away from winning. They should have won.
Right there. Right there.
But you got to get a Dodgers credit, man.
I know.
And it pains me to even say that. I don't even know how I'm wrapping my mind and mouth to even say that. But they play the game well.
Yeah. And it's not about the Dodgers. It's not about the Dodgers cheating. It's about the system and trying to fix the system. Well, this was a fun one. We got more sports talk coming up. Drive, guys. We will be back tomorrow. Thank you to Jay. Thank you to Cam Salerno. And until tomorrow, secure the bag. Let it be.